Shows how little you know politics.
Choose your destiny.
You can go left or you go right. You can go forward, but never ever back.
I want to hear your thoughts.
Good evening, my little one. I shall make you psychotic.
Mommy, what does psychotic
I want to hear your thoughts.
Choose your destiny.
You can go left or you go right. You can go forward, but never ever back. Yeah. Woke up. I ain't feeling your side. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? KCE, King Chaka.
And now, another
Yeah.
major production.
Yeah, I'm about to tell you what the real is. Deep down inside, you got to feel it. Emotions have the most number of killings. Pay close attention to your feelings.
Hey, how y'all doing out there? How y'all feel? Remember, an educated public cannot be controlled. Learn to be active. The views and events expressed here are totally whacked, and not necessarily the views of anyone. ¿Cómo estás? Bien, bien. ¿Podemos ayudarnos más? Sí se puede. Don't take my word for it. Look that mess up. How y'all feeling? I wasn't even expecting to do a show today, so this is a surprise to me and everyone else. How about that? The name of the show is Mindless Soul Shoveling Loser. I'm gonna explain that in a minute. I need to kind of get myself into the groove because I kind of decided I was going to do the show like a few minutes ago. So I'm a bit off right now. What happened? Did we lose some subscribers? Give me a second, y'all. I'm trying to get it together. Let's do a little democracy now while I get myself together. Wait, can y'all hear me? Okay. Sounds weird. I'm coming. 1 second. I don't know how long I'm gonna be on tonight.
At democracynow.org/give. Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Dozens of Palestinians have been killed after Israel resumed its bombardment of Gaza, ending a week-long pause to facilitate the exchange of captives. Hamas responded by firing a salvo of rockets towards southern Israel. The UN says the resumption of violence puts thousands of innocent lives at risk. Since the October 7th Hamas attack, the Israeli bombardment has killed over 15,000 Palestinians, including 6,100 children. Israel's expanded its military campaign to target southern areas of Gaza, where Israeli planes have been dropping leaflets warning people to evacuate areas around Khan Yunis, warning the city was now a dangerous battle zone. Israel previously expelled hundreds of thousands of people from the northern Gaza Strip to the south. Just hours before the truce expired, residents of Khan Yunis searched through the rubble of their former homes for any personal items they could salvage.
They said evacuate the north and go south. Now they're bombing the south. Like, evacuate around. So where are they supposed to go? Like, it's really crazy. Anyways, anybody that's paying attention to this, it's sad. I was happy to see the ceasefire. It would have been nice for it to go on longer than it did, although I'm not surprised that it came to an end. I'm not surprised at all. Hamas is still holding lots of hostages. You would think that they would be concerned with the welfare of those hostages and try to, make some agreement so that they can get some more hostages. But I guess they reached their quota of hostages. They were probably just trying to pacify their people, make their people happy, But I'm sure there are people not happy with not getting all of the hostages. Whatever, man. My mic is acting crazy. Forgive me. Can y'all hear me? I've got anxiety today. Can y'all hear me? My delay is delayed. My delay is delayed. Hold on. The sound is really weird. Wish somebody was in here so y'all could tell me how I sound, because it sounds weird to me. Anyways, yes, it's over. No more ceasefire. Deaded. Ceasefire is deaded. Oh, Mehdi Hassan got lost his show on his MSNBC. Some people are saying it's because of his coverage of Israel, but that may not be true because they're saying that his ratings weren't very good. So it could be that. But that sounds like an excuse to me. But what do I know? I'm just a guy. What else? Oh, yeah. What's his name? Santos. He got expelled. Let's play some of that. I say it couldn't happen to a more deserving guy.
Inflation Reduction Act. The House of Representatives voting today over whether to expel New York Congressmember George Santos, who repeatedly lied about his professional experience, his background, and likely committed multiple violations of campaign finance rules. Santos painted himself as a victim of a smear campaign, refused to resign as he addressed lawmakers Thursday as they debated his future.
When this vote is on the floor, it is in the conscience of all of my colleagues that they believe that this is the correct thing to do. So be it. Take the vote. I'm at peace.
Okay.
If ousted, Congressmember George Santos will become just the sixth member of the House ever to be removed by fellow lawmakers. And in California, animal rights activist and attorney Wayne Chung has been sentenced to 90 days in jail after he was found.
The animal rights stuff is kind of silly. And when you're talking about cows and chickens and ducks and stuff, like, we eat them. So, like, Anyways, they have the right to be 8. Santos. This guy. You know, he's the guy. That guy. The guy. Forget about that guy. Forget about him. Yeah, I don't know, man. This guy, I don't know. He irks me big time. He just looks like a freaking. Anyways, I'm gonna stay away from the personal attacks today. Look at the way this guy's face is looking. Like he's the only person behind him too. Like, and then he's looking at him like this. Look at that facial expression. Anyways, freaking he's like, if y'all want to do this vote, then do it. I'm at peace. Well, we did it, and you're out of here. So go home. All that lying and stuff, and all that, you know, the way you carry yourself and stuff, like you're not even supposed to be here, bro. So, you know, you treating campaign finances like your freaking personal piggy bank, like that is not cool and that is not right, and it's actually against the law. So, you know, after this, I really wouldn't be surprised if some criminal charges came down on this guy. It would only be fair. It would only be right. He definitely did some law breaking stuff. That was one of the comments he said too. I haven't been convicted of anything. Okay, well let's fix that. Let's read some Democracy Now! Comments. It says, I love the use of captives by Democracy Now! It's excellent. Hostages and prisoners are politically loaded terms, and captives is an umbrella term for both that doesn't depoliticize the issue in a cheap way. Excellent job, whoever made the editorial decision. Democracy Now! Is really careful about how they say things. I think that's how they're able to do what they do too, you know. And so a lot of times read between the lines to even get what they're trying to get at, you know. That's one thing I like about Democracy Now! They treat their viewers like they know stuff. Unlike a lot of major news media. This one, it says, I could never think that colonialism is a thing that could still exist in 2023, considering all the supposed human rights that exist and still not being called out by those who established those rights. Bro, wake up and smell the coffee. They talk about post-colonialism. Post-colonialism, my ass. We're not in the post stage yet. Maybe we're moving in that direction, but we're not there. It says, losing Mehdi Hassan from the airwaves is a major loss to democracy. Another one, it says, Mehdi Hassan is a talented journalist, an amazing, articulate, and powerful speaker. Cancellation of his show is sad. Let's go ahead and play that clip. A lot of people are talking about that. I agree, it is sad.
The Mehdi Hassan Show. The British-born journalist is known for holding powerful figures to account and is one of the most powerful Muslim voices on American television. Following the news, Congressmember Ilhan Omar said, quote, it's deeply troubling that MSNBC is canceling his show amidst a rampant rise of anti-Muslim bigotry and suppression of Muslim voices, she said. Journalist Ryan Grimm said, quote, Mehdi's style of confrontational interviews in which he doesn't let public figures get away with lies or half-true talking points turned him into a celebrated journalist in the UK. His show's cancellation is such a pathetic indictment of the U.S. media, Grimm said. Mehdi Hassan Show has been welcomed as one of the few on mainstream networks to question Israel's narrative over its attacks on Gaza. Earlier last month, Hassan interviewed Mark Regev, a senior advisor to Prime Minister Netanyahu.
I have seen lots of children with my own lying eyes being pulled from the rubble.
Because they're the pictures Hamas wants you to see. Exactly my point,
they're
Mehdi.
dead,
They're
Mark.
the pictures Hamas wants.
But they're also people that your government has killed. You accept that, right? You've killed children, or do you deny that?
No, I do not. I do not. I do not. First of all, you don't know how those people died, those children.
Oh, wow.
Russia's Supreme...
He said, oh, wow. First of all, you don't know how these people died. They just, Yeah, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go there. People are crazy. Um, let's leave out of here. I wonder, do we want to look at some headlines? Let's look at some headlines real quick. It says Israel strikes on Gaza intensify, renewing concerns about civilians. It says Israel is pounding targets in southern Gaza and ordering more neighborhoods designated for attack to evacuate, as the United States urges to do more to protect civilians. The United States urges it to do more to protect civilians. Really? Why don't you just stop giving them money and weapons and bombs? There's a clip, I'm gonna play it in a minute, but the U.S. just sent them some bunker busting bombs. Like, so we're if the U.S. is concerned with civilians on one hand, and then it says urging it to do more to protect civilians, and then on the other hand, give them bomb busting, bunker busting bombs. I don't think they're really sincere. Let's see. Kiss says farewell to live touring. Become first U.S. band to go virtual and become digital avatars. I wonder how does that work. They're so old anyway, so I guess still I wonder how that works. People gonna pay to see their avatars play, probably through their computer. Yeah, people were watching this at work. Number 8, Alabama knocks off number 1, Georgia. 27-24 for SEC title. Both teams await postseason fate. It says Barbie doll honoring Cherokee Nation leader is met with mixed emotions. Yeah, I bet people are gonna be. Let's look at this. People find things to be mad about. It's so freaking crazy. Like, crazy to me, the things that people get mad about. Barbie doll honoring Cherokee Nation leader is met with mixed emotions. She doesn't even look Native American. I guess she does, but I don't know why anybody would be mad at this doll. What would be your motivation to be upset about that doll? Like, let's read a little bit. Oklahoma City, an iconic chief of Cherokee Nation, Wilma Mankiller, inspires countless Native American children as a powerful but humble leader who expanded early education and rural health care. Her reach is now broadening with the quintessential American horror honor, a Barbie doll in the late Mankiller's likeness as part of toymaker Mattel's Inspiring Women series. So let me go back. Is that picture that they show, is that her? I don't think the Barbie actually looks like her. But, okay. Whatever, I guess that's beside the point. A public ceremony honoring Mankiller's legacy is set for Tuesday in Tahlequah in northeast Oklahoma, where the Cherokee Nation is headquartered. Mankiller was the First Nation's first female principal chief, leading the tribe for decades until 1995. She focused on improving social conditions through census and on restoring pride in Native heritage. She met with 3 U.S. presidents and received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian award. I guess that's cool. She also met snide remarks about her surname, a military title, with humor. often delivering straight-faced responses. Man Killer is actually a well-earned nickname. She died in 2010. The tribe's current leader, Principal Chief Chuck Hoaxon Jr., applauded Mattel for commemorating Man Killer. When Native girls see it, they can achieve it, and Woman Man Killer has shown countless women to be fearless and speak up for indigenous and human rights. Hoskins said in a statement, Woman Man Killer is a champion for the Cherokee Nation, for Indian country, and even my own daughter. So when they look at that, they're going to see themselves or whatever and be inspired. I don't see how that's the case. Maybe because of the clothing, but even still, she just looks like a bar. It just looks like a Barbie that's already been out. So when they see this, how would you even know if they didn't tell you that it was, you know, supposed to be representing Native American Cherokee chief lady? I wouldn't know. If I saw some kid playing with the doll or I saw a commercial or whatever, I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell. I'm, and if I couldn't tell, then I don't think that the kids would. And you'd have to tell them. Whatever. Let's move on. Let's move on. I came on late, so I'm probably not gonna get any guests. Probably no one thought I was gonna come on. I told the guys I probably wasn't gonna come on. So, police charge director of Miss Nicaragua pageant with running beauty queen coup plot. What the hell? Moving on. It says the surfing venue for the Paris Olympics is on the other side of the world, but could steal the show. Police raid Moscow's gay bars after Supreme Court ruling labeled LGBTQ movement extremist. I saw a lot of this. This is kind of a big deal because, you know, the LGBTQ, anything representing LGBTQ will be considered extremist, and the police can come in and freaking break it up or whatever, arrest people. So this is what's happening in Russia. And I saw a clip where Putin was saying moms should have more kids and stuff. I wonder if that's related. Snowstorm brings Munich airport to a standstill and causes travel chaos in Central Europe. I saw something about that stuff too. Not a lot. I didn't see a lot of stuff. I've been working the last 3 days, like all day. So little seconds that I have to scroll is when I've seen some of this stuff. It says 3 officials have left the pro DeSantis super PAC in the group's latest shakeup, AP sources said. Man, DeSantis's campaign is on really weak ground. I wouldn't be surprised to see him like bow out sometime soon. It says Venezuelans to vote in referendum over large swath of territory under dispute with Guyana. This one is a big deal. This could turn into another war right here. And I could see Western powers getting involved in this on one side or the other too. There's resources involved in this, so private capital is concerned with the outcome of this. Can y'all hear me? Let me check. Hold on. Sound is weird today. Mic is weird. I feel a bit discombobulated right now. Gaza's deaths over 15,000, officials say. The health ministry Hamas-run Gaza says the death toll has surpassed 15,000, and 70,000 of those killed are women and children. 70% of those. Yeah, we've seen those numbers flowing around. Let's go to Insta. I don't know how long I'm gonna stay. Make sure I got some stuff for the rails. Let's go. And it's been a lot about hearing Kissinger. I think I have some clips on that. Oh yeah, this is what I was talking about. Let's go to this right quick. Check it out. It says U.S. sends deadly bunker buster bombs to Israel for Gaza war. It says under illegal Israel siege and blockading Gaza repost. Oh, it says life under illegal Israel siege and blockading Gaza. It says the United States has sent more weapons to Israel, including deadly bunker buster bombs, to assist the regime in its war against the besieged Gaza Strip. The Wall Street Journal reports. Citing U.S. officials, the American newspaper said Washington has provided Tel Aviv with 100 BLU 109 bombs that are capable of penetrating hardened structures before exploding. The bomb, which carries a warhead weighing more than 900 kilograms, has previously been used in some of the deadliest Israeli attacks on the populated Palestinian territory, including an airstrike on the Jabalah refugee camp that killed more than 100 people last month. Look at this thing. Moab is written on the side, and then it's got the U.S. flag on there. That's a scary looking thing right there. It's got wings and everything, so I guess it can probably be guided. Yep. Well, weapons of war. Gotta love it. Some comments, it says, what is wrong with this country sending more military weapons to murder children? I'm so disgusted. It says, may it explode back into its own master. I mean, it says, Ya Allah, may it explode in Israel instead of Gaza. I mean. Comments. Hold on. It says nothing but terrorism. It says, what the hell is wrong with the genocide, Joe? Blood all over your hands, Biden. May it cost you your re-election. It says, I cannot imagine what any Palestinian who is in Gaza feels in their body when they see this image. This makes me sick just to think it would be coming from me and my child, and it's legally approved. My government, who's supposed to protect, sending this is sadistic, bloodthirsty, and unholy monster behavior. The world is sick. Yeah, it sucks. Really, really sucks. This one, did they kick me out for those comments? No. Okay. It says, welcome to the year 5 of COVID. 4 years since the first case, 3 years since the first vax, 2 years since Paxlovid, nothing since then. You went back to work. That was the whole point. The only conspiracy, people resuming producing and consuming. Governments instantly stopped caring. It says, did we get better rapid tests? No. Improved indoor air quality? Laugh my ass off, no. Guaranteed sick leave in the US? Ha ha, show up or lose everything. Accelerated development of second generation intranasal vaccines? We waited until 2023 to think about funding that. No rush. I wasn't exaggerating when I said governments focus squarely on doing the bare minimum to make the economy go. It says, well, the American Rescue Plan got the economy off its back and moving again, back on its feet, getting over 20 to 200 million Americans fully vaccinated, got people out of their homes and back to work, even in the face of wave after wave of COVID. So I guess this was a White House governor. Was it a tweet? I don't know. I don't recognize this. WH.gov. It says, comments, it says, I remember being so foolishly optimistic in 2020 that this event would force our society to reevaluate its healthcare system. The years gone by have only made me more of a cynic. We truly are disposable human capital. That's what I was thinking too when it happened. I was like, okay, so this is going to force them to look at our healthcare system and make some changes because so many people died, and a lot of the deaths was as a result of our terrible system. You know, uh, we weren't able to deal with it properly, and mainly because of our horrible system. But you know, it has come and it's gone, and people aren't even talking about it. They're not even talking about fixing the system that we have that allowed all these people to die. So something happens again, we're gonna it's gonna be the same results. We haven't changed anything. Comments, it says, and I lost both my parents to it. Another one, it says, and people are still getting COVID. People are living with long COVID, and people are suffering with new health problems as a result of COVID. But as long as corporations meet their profit goals, who cares, right? It says, do people expect to close down for 4 years? Asking seriously. Another one, funny how unmasked leftist friends will like all your other posts and not the ones talking about COVID. Another one, never stop talking about this. These are unforgivable crimes against the people, especially marginalized, disabled, vulnerable people. Another one, LMAO, COVID is still active. We have a wave right now, but it's more like a seasonal flu. It will not go away. And yes, we got rapid testing and better preparation for future pandemics. Not the US, maybe, but the civilized world at least. Everybody but us. It says, I'm going to say Joe Biden is worse than Trump. At least people resisted under Trump. Another one, I wish we had Paxlovid too, but no, tough it out. I've had it twice, though I've masked since the start because of really nonchalant people. Almost lost my life the second time. Forever disabled by it. I hate this pandemic so much. It's hard to stay hopeful. It says, I lost several friends to anti-maskers taking up all the ER resources. Yeah, keep on blaming the other people. Keep on blaming your neighbors. They're the reason why. Not the system that we have, not our healthcare system. It was your neighbors that it was their fault that these people died. It says, even in the face of wave after wave of COVID, not the bragging point that they actually think it is. 20 to 200 million is insane range. That's true. That is true. Like that's almost like, what's the point of even saying it? Like 20 to 200 million. So what? Just whatever number you want to throw out there. Hey, yeah, it could be 50. It could be 150 million. Yeah, eh, somewhere in there. Another comment says, I wear a mask whenever I'm inside a building. Capitalism sucks. It says, we got those numbers down to a 9/11 every 3 weeks. Let me move on because this is pretty sad and depressing. Check this one. It says, new billionaires getting rich via inheritance rather than entrepreneurship and great wealth transfer. A new wave of billionaires acquired more wealth through inheritance than entrepreneurship during the last year as a great wealth transfer picks up steam, a new report by UBS found. 53 heirs received a total of 150.8 billion, which is higher than the 140.7 billion brought in by 84 new self-made billionaires, the report shows. This is the first time this has been the case since the report was first published in 2015, and this is only the beginning. In the next 20 to 30 years, wealth worth around 5.2 trillion is expected to be passed from one generation to another. And when they say self-made billionaires, I'm like, I have a hard time. Like that sentence doesn't even really work for me. Self-made billionaires. I don't believe in that. I mean, hey, you want to believe in it, that's fine, but I don't. Um, yeah, man, I had a table and the guy said he was celebrating his mom's death, and I was like, wow. But, you know, He could have meant it as in like, celebrating her life, because that's kind of what I think he was intended on saying. But I don't know that that was necessarily the case. These people have money, you know, and when people with money die, their children get a substantial amount of money. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I looked at him weird. I was like, that's weird. Like, to even just say that out loud like that. Like, I don't know. Maybe I would think different if I was in like I don't come from wealth, so I guess I don't really understand. Comments, it says, now we shaming generational wealth. They're not shaming it. They're just stating facts here. Just stating facts. You know, it is something to think about, though. It says also billionaires don't pay taxes. Imagine how you'd be able to save if you were being extorted every year. And the thing I think about when they talk about the money being transferred is like these people who've been dodging taxes their whole life. One of the ways they get them is once the money gets passed on to the next generation, then they have to pay taxes on that money a lot of times. But a lot of people, they're pushing to even get rid of that. So then it'll be, and it's looking like it's going in that direction, because if that lands in the Supreme Court, I think that it'll end up being that they'll get rid of it. So then these people will be able to enforce shutdowns of smaller businesses that funnel the entire population toward the corporate entities that were allowed to remain open during the pandemic. Boom, 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 boom. That was a Mike Tyson combination punch. He says wealth transfer has to happen someday. After all, it's money being held up by the first generation. He says when Kramer comes on, CNBC goes off. When Kramer comes on, CNBC goes off. It says BS, they got rich by assuming credit at 29.99% and 8% mortgages to us. So what American dream are they referring to? Because many Americans are in debt. Yeah, people don't want to talk about this stuff. I don't understand why people always defend corporations and they defend rich people. Like, if you are rich and you are a corporation, then I understand. But if you're not, then what the hell are you doing? Like, those people don't care about you. They're not looking out for you. Yeah, and you'll never be them, ever. So this one, it says the price of Tyson chicken went up 20% in 2021, which helped the company double its profits. But over the past 3 years, Tyson has had to pay 220 million over price fixing allegations. When I say price gouging is driving inflation, this is what I mean. And we've been talking about this a lot here on the show, and it's surprising to me because I don't see this kind of stuff in the news. It says over the past 3 years, Tyson has had to pay 220 million over price fixing allegations. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that in the news, and I follow the news. So these kind of stories, I guess, they get pushed all the way down. They don't get covered by people. It's a reason why they don't cover these stories. So when I sit here and say that these companies are price gouging, and that's really what's driving inflation, and people are like, they make excuses or whatever. It's like, nah, that's not the case. Well, if they had to pay 220 million over price fixing allegations, they obviously did something. They obviously did some wrong, and the whole thing with the eggs and all the prices, this stuff hurt us. Like, the internet was all making jokes about it. Oh, I'm balling because I got a dozen of eggs or whatever. They made fun of it and they made it funny or whatever. But that stuff is not funny. People going hungry is what was the result of those prices of those eggs. And they freaking did that shit, um, you know, on their own. Like that, it wasn't true what they were saying, and they cashed in. They cashed in so much money, and there's still a lot of these companies still are cashing in as a result of the pandemic and saying that they had supply chain issues or whatever the hell. They've been doing this kind of thing for a long time. I don't know where the charger is for it. If Anaya's up, ask her if she has a Samsung charger. Look around and see if you can find it. It says, reminder, corporations can get away with price gouging because they face little competition. If markets were competitive, companies would keep their prices down to prevent competitors from stealing customers. But in a market with so few competitors, consumers have no real choice. And oh my God. And this is what I'm saying. So really the market is weaker, and they're like free market. Free market, my effing ass, man. It's not a free market, especially when you have only a few companies who are doing it. In every sector, there's only a couple of companies that are dominating it. There's no real competition. They get to do whatever the hell they want when there's no real competition. Not only that, it's weaker. Our market is weaker when there's no real competition. I can't seem to get I don't see why people don't seem to be able to understand that. If something happens with one of these big huge companies, then we're screwed because there won't be nobody to fill in the gap of whatever product or service that they're providing. I want to copy this comment. Couple more comments that says, this is where government needs to intervene. I'm really tired of waiting for them to break up monopolies, provide more competition, also take the big money out of elections. I'm telling you, and the right and the left will totally agree on this. I think most of them, United States, most Americans would agree on this, I think. But we're not talking about it, and it's not happening. And they're not going to happen because they're in the pockets of these corporations, you know, and the laws are on the books, and they've done it in the past. They've done it before. They haven't done it recently, but it has been done. Freaking Meta should be broken up. Google should be broken up. Amazon should be broken up. We can keep going down the line. It says it's not just raising the prices of goods, but also sneakily reducing the size quantity of the product. I just bought coffee packaging, looks the same. However, not only was cost more for when I purchased it last, it now was 8 ounce less product for more. It's greed. If you can pay CEOs massive bonuses and wage increases, stock buybacks, record profits, EA quarter equals corporate greed. Real simple. And I don't know why when you try to argue this, people are like, whatever. They make excuses over and over and over again, you know. And so, yeah, this is one of the ways that they're sneakily doing this stuff is giving you less product, at the same price or sometimes even a greater price. And they're doing this all across the board now. Ever since COVID, they were doing it before COVID, but COVID allow them to speed up that shit. So it's real simple. If they're saying they had supply chain issues or a bunch of chickens died or whatever their excuse was, okay, that's fine. We'll go with it. But if your next quarter you have like outrageous profits that you're reporting, something in the thing is not adding up. The math is not mathing. Something isn't adding up. Something is not right. Because how could you be having record profits if you just struggled? If you went through a struggle, your profits should reflect that. Another comment, it says, any comments on the Democratic Party funding a genocide? Another one, it's crazy that the country doesn't see it. They think it's all about the president. The president doesn't control these corporations at all. Like what they do, how much packaging is there, what is the amount of weight and cost of the stuff that they're selling. Like the president has no power over that. So we have to realize who the real enemy is. But that's the reason why they keep having you fight and pointing fingers. Oh, it's Donald Trump. Oh, it's Biden. Oh, it's Kamala Harris or some other senator or whatever. Like, no, it's the corporations. That's who needs to be checked. And all our energy needs to be pushed in that direction. Another comment is because people are like, well, the politicians are the ones who make the laws or whatever. Yeah, but the corporations are the ones who's in the politicians' pockets, filling their pockets. No matter what, you have to change the system. You're like, oh, we need fresh new blood and we need term limits or whatever. None of that's gonna matter. You get new people in there, the corporations put money in their pockets, and then they do what they want them to do. And the cycle continues. The cycle goes on. You're just getting pacified by your vote, thinking that you're doing something, and nothing ever changes. The winners keep winning. The powers that be keep winning. Oh no. This topic kind of takes my energy away. 1 o'clock in the morning. I hope Doc jumps in here.
Of the world's chocolate comes from West Africa, but that chocolate is often harvested by children as young as 5 years old. What you're about to watch now is our investigation. We traveled to Ghana to look at the children who are making your chocolate.
Laboring in the blistering heat, here as young as 6, slicing the grass with lethal ease, their machetes nearly as long as the smallest among them. These Ghanaian children are harvesting the cocoa that ends up in America's best-loved chocolates. Instead of going to school, they are learning that sharp blades cut deep and big corporations make promises they seldom keep. We traveled across Ghana's remote cocoa belt, visiting small subsistence farms that supply US chocolate giant Mars, and found children working on every one of them. Mars did over $45 billion in annual sales last year, in large part from selling chocolates like M&Ms and Snickers. Its owners are the 3rd wealthiest family in the US.
The company vowed to have systems in place to eradicate child labor from its supply chain by 2025.
Even boasting about rescuing thousands of children who are listed as beneficiaries of what Mars calls their robust monitoring system to keep them off plantations and in schools. CBS News obtained copies of these lists from a whistleblower.
We're going to try and find some of the children on these lists and see if the information checks out.
Our first stop, 15-year-old Munira.
And your name, I think, is on this list. Do you want to check for me? Is that you?
Here she is, toiling away on her family farm, her life since she was 5 years old. School's a luxury she's hardly ever been.
I feel sad. I want to be a medical doctor, but they don't have money to support me.
The family says it harvested only 1 bag of decent quality cocoa the entire year. A 140-pound sack fetches around $115. Last year, field supervisors contracted by Mars visited Munira.
And this is all they gave you?
Handing out a backpack and school books with the slogan, I am a child, I play, I go to school. In the nearly 18 months since that visit, nobody has been back to check that she is in school. This cocoa field supervisor for the past 13 years spoke out on condition we hide his identity.
Personally, I've made lists before. I've made that place before. And I can say on authority that almost every data is cool.
Or incorrect.
It's not correct. Nobody has come back to check as to whether it's true or not.
CBS News spoke to nearly a dozen children on that list used by Mars. None of them were in school, nor had they been regularly monitored to ensure they attended classes. No one came here ever?
And in some cases, the name on the list was an outright fabrication.
We've come to visit another household where a child is listed by Mars as no longer working on cocoa farms.
She was supposed to be this man's daughter. The only problem, she doesn't even exist. When children do go to school, instead of pencils, they carry machetes.
Put your hands up if you work on the cocoa farms.
Less than a third of the 300 students registered here actually attend classes, and they all told us they harvest cocoa either before or after school.
Is all the cocoa here?
CBS News visited a warehouse that supplies cocoa giant Mars.
So you can 100% guarantee that all the cocoa here has no child labor in it.
In Ghana, child labor is an offense.
That's not my question. Can you guarantee that all the cocoa here is free of child labor?
That one, I can't say 100%.
US human rights lawyer Terry Collingsworth has filed a proposed class action lawsuit for consumer fraud against American chocolate manufacturers Mars, Cargill, and Mondelez.
They're telling the public that we're rehabilitating this kid, and then they're cynically coming here and just checking a box, and the kid is back working the next day. That's fine. That's fine.
He has collected statements from Ghanaian children working for Mars suppliers.
Okay. Thank you for being very brave.
Like these little boys doing the back-breaking work of adult men. Tiny hands struggling with the dangerous work of hacking open cocoa pods, the long blade narrowly missing this 5-year-old's fingers. Mars is one of the biggest privately owned companies in the world, raking in billions every year, in large part from chocolate. Billions made on the backs of these young children.
I think one of the things that was really horrifying when we were in Ghana doing our investigation into children harvesting cocoa was that we saw a child as young as 5 years old wielding this giant machete, nearly as long as his little body. And every time he would hack it down, nearly missing his fingers. It was really terrifying to watch. And then we saw children going to school, carrying their machetes to school, because even if they manage to get to classes, they have to work either before school or after school. Nearly 60% of the world's chocolate comes from West Africa, but that chocolate is often harvested by children as young as 5.
Yeah, man, it's a crazy, crazy world we live in. You know, I think a lot of people are just not aware of this type of thing. But it's like, what do you do, right? Like, people aren't going to not buy chocolate. Like, you're going to try to boycott them and keep them, you know. What do you do? It's greed that drives this. People are going to invest in these companies. They're going to make money. They're going to get their dividends back. The owners of these companies just keep getting richer and richer every year after year, you know. Well, like the other post earlier talking about post-colonialism, you know. Y'all remember if you learned about sharecropping, and then in this clip they talked about the kid only getting paid for one bag over a whole year. That sounds like sharecropping to me. And it's like, you know, slavery also. Like, so you got modern day slavery, you got child labor, you got sharecropping, you know, all of this continuing to happen. You know, it's if a company is making billions of dollars, you know, what is their incentive to do it in some other kind of way? You know, they don't have any incentive to do it in any other kind of way. And then they send out these letters or whatever to make it seem like that, you know, that they're doing good things or they're making it better or whatever. It's just to make you as the consumer to feel less guilty when you're eating your M&Ms, you know. It's just a whole bunch of bullshit, you know, and it's like we're helpless. What are we supposed to do about it, you know? It's it's not going to change. I don't see it. And you know, like what kind of future does these children have? Like what kind of opportunities do they have? Nobody cares about their opportunities. And then the owners of these companies, what do they do really to really deserve all of that money that they're getting? You know, they're just exploiting children in some far off land that they don't care about. They're completely separated from it. You know, they probably don't even know much about what's happening at all. They just go shopping and buy their yachts or whatever it is they buy, and they just go on with their life. Like, so they get to live the life of leisure and comfort, and these kids are out there freaking toiling away at 5 years old with a machete. You know, the other side of it, you can say, you know, what income would these kids have otherwise if it wasn't for that? But then you could also say that these people, they could own their own like means of production and sell this stuff themselves, you know. But that's not how it works. It's all about private capital. They come in and they extract the resources, and they don't leave anything for the people that are there. And there ain't no coincidence about the kind of people that it ends up being exploited in this way. You know, they're like, oh, they can't get their stuff together anyways, and we're actually helping them because they get to make $150 a year at 5 years old. Really, really sad. It says an investigation by CBS News found that the use of child labor for cocoa harvesting in parts of Ghana, with some children as young as 5 working on farms that supply candy giant Mars, the maker of products like M&Ms and Snickers. In a statement, Mars condemned the use of child labor, but said more needs to be done. Another comment says, OMG, I would rather my kids be out in the field with nature than being in the bedroom playing video games. Why is Western media and society so invasive with other people and their business, especially with something they truly don't live in nor understand the way of life? Jesus, you don't see other countries' media coming to Western society and investigating homeless, drug, and alcohol addicts. So annoying. Leave the people and their livelihood alone and grow more chocolate. What? This person doesn't get this at all. This has got to be a bot. Like, you don't understand at all. Like, okay, leave them alone. Let them grow chocolate. Well, then why is somebody over here in the United States the ones that's getting rich off of this? Let them make the money then. You don't see people coming over here to the United States. What kind of freaking comment is this? Let me move on. It's just that comment just made my head hurt. It says, you guys do realize this happens in America. Hispanic children are picking your fruits and vegetables in cold rain and heat before and after school, but you're okay with this as long as you don't have to do it. This is true. That comment is all the way true. So, I mean, that doesn't make it any less. Like, so we should care what? We have to choose which ones we care about more. We you know, none of the kids should be going through it. We could fix these things too. They could be fixed. It doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't. Comment and says, we'll never eat chocolate again. Well, if everybody did that, I guess maybe it'll have an impact, but it's not going to happen. Another comment says, this is disgusting. A boycott of their products is in order. Another comment says, I will not eat another piece of Mars chocolate. Another one says, the alloys used to make the cameras that cover the news comes under the same umbrella. Can't wait to see that get uncovered one day. Another one, please save the children. This is sad. I'm boycotting Mars. Your boycott will last, what, a month, a week? It'll last till next Halloween. Another comment says, y'all late. Why didn't this drop 10 years ago when the Dark Side of Chocolate documentary came out? How many kids in 10 years worth? Shaking my head. Y'all could have cared so much earlier. You know so much, but don't show it till after we say something. Start being the facilitators of knowledge, please. Have y'all seen Black Gold? Do coffee next. Yeah, man, you can go down the list, man. And, in my studies, and that's why I say, like, you look at the Caribbean and the history of the Caribbean, go back and look at sugar, coffee, tobacco, and you're going to find the same story. It's when they realize that they can make a lot of money off of this stuff, and they created these commodities as far as like created a demand for this stuff, and they realized that they can make so much money if they just exploited the labor of people from other countries and kind of just forced them. I mean, this is the global economy. Like, this is our modern economy. This is how it works with almost everything. And we're addicted to this. And we just look at it like it's normal, like it's okay. Another one that says, this is their culture. This is how they live, survive, take care of their family. Just because we're used to modern day living doesn't mean that other countries are wrong. I suggest you open your minds and learn about Africa culture, learn how they live. And if you don't like it, then donate to them. Something small goes for them. They can survive on $10 a week. Boycotting Mars won't do anything. See, like, these got to be bots that's making these comments, like, just because we are used to modern day living don't mean other countries are wrong. We're not talking about that country being wrong. We're talking about the corporation being wrong and exploiting these people in this other country. Okay? You're misguiding, you misdirection where the issue is. The issue is the corporation exploiting these people for billions of dollars. He says, if you don't like it, then donate to them. A small goes a long way. They can survive on $10 a week. Boycotting Mars won't do a thing. So it's like the corporations must have paid you to make this comment because they don't want people to boycott them. They don't want to. The only way you can affect them, really, all they care about is money. So yeah, boycott can impact them. It really can. I don't see it working really because people love chocolate, and they're gonna keep on eating it. So, like, no matter what, you can say a kid dies every time you eat an M&M. People are just gonna keep eating M&Ms. Like, they can survive on $10 a week. So it's like, that's where this thing happens all the time, where they point at the individual and they tell you that you can do something about it by like giving money or whatever, instead of attacking the system that's in place. People manage systems, systems manage people. You go and you manage the system and you adjust it so that it can have different outcomes. But people are afraid that, they don't, I don't know. They benefit from it. That's the real reason. They feel like one day they could be the Mars CEO or owner of a company like Mars one day. So they want things to stay the same so that they can become a billionaire off of the work of some 5-year-old kid in Uganda or wherever. It says Mars condemns child labor, at the same time profits from it. And please, there's no chance they didn't realize this before they were exposed. It says, check the cobalt mines for your favorite phone, EV, etc. I think you will be horrified. Like I say, it's the same for like almost everything. It said another one. It says, now do the cobalt mines in Africa. You know where all the minerals come from to build all those EV batteries you desperately want to power your green cars and your cell phones. Read Cobalt Red. I bet your masters won't let you report on this known human rights problem. Like I say, the electric cars are not the answer. It continues to lead to the same system. We need to focus on trains. We need a whole different way we build our cities and go at this whole thing different. Anyways, let's move on.
A media-opoly. The whole media is controlled by a few corporations thanks to deregulation by the FCC.
You mean Disney, Fox, Westinghouse, and good old GE?
They own networks from CBS to CNBC.
They can use them to say whatever they please and put down the opinions of anyone who disagrees.
Or stuff about PCBs.
What are PCBs?
They come from electric power plants built by Westinghouse and GE.
They can give you lots of cancer that can hurt your body.
But on network TV, you rarely hear anything bad about the nuclear industry.
Like when Westinghouse was sued for fraud.
Which time?
GE made defective bolts, it was an unreported crime. Or when it was boycotted for operating nuclear bomb plants just to squeeze a dime.
That's a footnote, by the way.
A footnote protects you from folks who doubt what you say. Now maybe the voices in my head will go away.
But the big shots don't care. They're all sitting pretty thanks to corporate welfare.
What's that now?
They get billions in subsidies from the government. It's supposed to create jobs, but that's not how it's spent. They use tax and soft money to support congressmen who will vote for weapons programs again and again and let them dump toxic waste where the young ones play.
INGE made the bullets that shot JFK.
You contribute to this chain every time you buy a product sponsored on this show.
That's what NBC doesn't want you to know. Till the next time.
Please stand by, please stand by. These is technical difficulty, supposedly. So if you see a please stand by, you know it's all part of these big lies. Why they take Norm McDonald's away?
Because they made too many jokes about OJ.
But Lorne Michaels overruled.
Now don't be fooled. He and Barry went to the same house.
So yeah, it says aired only once in 1998 on the live SNL show, for which it was written and effectively banned, and never aired again. I wonder why. Mediaopoly. This comments, it says, I mean, SNL only airs skits. Once they do, they not. Another one says, by the way, the Democratic enabled this by passing the needed laws under Bill Clinton. Perfect Union, again, omitted this very important information. Another one, it says, since I've been alive, I've lived in unregulated capitalism. It says, it's so depressing that the military-industrial complex Eisenhower warned us about has come to this point. I imagine it was already present and looming ever larger when he left office. The companies that had grown rich from producing weapons for World War II did not want to lose such a profitable income stream. It says, it all started during Reagan's presidency, the worst again. Congress had a struggle with codifying a law that stops media outlets from monopolizing. And since then, Congress has repealed various laws that supported the anti-monopoly gains. Yeah, we got monopolies in every sector, like I said before, and the media is not an exception. It's one of the biggest issues with everything, because if you had a media that wasn't so centralized, then you could get information out to people and they could be aware of things and they could make more informed decisions. You know, it would be harder for the other corporations to control what we see and hear if it was, you know, spread out. But now they just pay 1 or 2 or 3 different, you know, media outlets, and, you know, the advertising funds is a huge part of this, you know, because that's how these media conglomerates make their money. So they're not going to make shows or do op-eds or anything that's going to make the company that pays their bills look bad. The company that they're showing their ads every other, you know, 5 seconds, and they're making all of this money, like huge amounts of money. Then, like, if they played something that made that company look bad, then that company will pull their ads, and then boom, automatically overnight they'll go from making money to not making money. So they don't have an incentive to tell us what's really going on. It says the irony of it being banned. Another one that says 25 years and now the damn thing has changed. It's only gotten worse. Another one, swear this is only why Captain Planet cartoon is so difficult to find. They stuff that they teach to kids in this show is radical. Another one, SNL used to be rebellious. Now they shill for the neo-libs. Super sad. It says, the line at the end about kicking Norm off the air was golden. It says, probably because GE owns the Shinhart Wig Company, which owns NBC. Another one, haven't seen this since that night. Thank you for posting it. Another one, it says, I used to teach media literacy like this. Another one, it says, since I've been alive, I've lived in unregulated capitalism. Western media needs to crash before 2024. Yeah, we could break down this whole thing right here. Maybe I will later, since I did this stream. I could do like a little clips of this and then we can break it down or something. I don't want to take the time to do it now. I can't stop it where I want to. I don't have that option. So I'll come back to this and clip that.
Fasso's junta-led government on Thursday launched the construction of the country's first refinery for gold, Burkina's main mineral resource. The refinery will have a production capacity of around 400 kilograms, 880 pounds, of gold per day. The first 22-carat gold bars will leave the refinery in 11 months' time, he said, adding that the project would create 100 direct jobs and 5,000 indirect jobs. There's no longer any question of us taking our gold abroad for refining. We'll refine it on city, because we know the real content of the raw gold that comes out. That's very important, Burkina Faso's military leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, said at a launch ceremony in the capital Ouagadougou. For some time now, gold has been Burkina's leading export product, he added, but we have no control over gold. Today, we have decided to put a whole network in place. Laying the first stone is first and foremost a question of sovereignty. In the environment of gold production in Burkina, for a long time it was said that we were not a gold-producing country, but for some time gold has become the leading export product. But we do not have control over gold, whether it is research, production, as you have seen the refinery. We asked ourselves lots of questions, and today we decided to put a whole chain together. You follow with fishing, that we want to exploit the gold ourselves, and today we are laying the first stone of the refinery. It will no longer be a question of us taking our gold outside to be refined. We refine it on site. We know what the real content of the raw gold that comes out is. That is very important. And also it is necessary that through SONASP, we are in the process of inviting local gold miners to bring the gold back inside, because SONASP is the structure which will buy back the gold, and that we can refine here. A lot of gold leaves Burkina fraudulently, and which also contributes to fueling terrorism. So we invite gold miners, whether collectors or others, to bring the gold back to the central portion, and at the same time also invite SONASP to increase the number of counters to be able to collect the gold. And in addition to this refinery, I hope that in the coming days we have another bigger project that is underway, and that is waste treatment. A factory which was designed by Burkinabe engineers, which is currently in the test phase, and we hope that in the...
Let me make sure y'all can hear me. Let me make sure y'all can hear me. Hold on, y'all, 1 second. Let me double check this. Okay, let's go. So it says decolonization. This is what the F we are talking about. I like this guy, man. I like the moves that he's making, and I hope that other countries in Africa are watching this and follow suit with what this guy is doing. Like, I'm a fan of this guy big time. comments. It says, it's about time. Chaka Bars posted this. It says, it's about time. This is his caption, Chaka Bars. It says, it's about time. Love to all from Burkina Faso. Another comment says, we need Congo to open their eyes right now. Another one, it says, the West not going to like this. They're not liking any of the stuff that this guy is doing. Another comment, it says, this is how it should always be. Each country should control their resources and empower themselves first. It's kind of like when Donald Trump says America first, people are like, yeah, that sounds good. But if another country says the same thing, like especially one of these African countries, then people are like, whoa. What about the American companies that make a bunch of money off of that? I don't like that. Another comment says, oh, they're coming. Oh, they'll be coming for him. They always do. Show your gold like that, and you'll end up like Gaddafi. I really hope not. And they already been coming for him. So, and I'm sure he knows this. So, they got a military behind them. So this guy, he always looks like he has on a vest. I don't know if he has one on in this one, but he always looks like he has on a vest. Yeah, protect this guy at all costs. But if the full weight of the American military comes down on this guy, I don't know that he can shoot. Gaddafi was strong as hell, and they went in there and took him out like he was nothing. So I guess it depends on how big he gets and how far he goes. Another comment says, gold should never be an export product, but a backing to our currency. Another comment says, France brutally murdered Thomas Sankara, but many Sankaras were born. Yeah, but, they set that example and they scared the hell out of people, and they could totally come in and do the same to this guy. You got, what's the other guy that comes to mind? What is his name? Thomas Sankara, and then you got, what is his name? Why can't I think of it? Oh, it's going to come to me. Damn it, it's right on the tip of my tongue. What is his name? Let's read some more. It says, the king needs to be kept safe, protected big time. Yes. It says, Burkina Faso #1 resource is gold, and Ibrahimi Traore is the reason they have the first gold refinery in Burkina Faso. France is a thief, and I'm glad their robbing is being shut down. What's the guy's name I'm thinking of? Oh, cannot think of his name. They assassinated him too. Basically was doing the same thing. They went in there, took him out. They made it look like it was his own people who did it, which it was his own people, but they were being guided by external forces. Another one, let's read this. It says, Africa needs unity within the continent. It's so easy for rogue states like France and Belgium, USA, and others to take advantage of single countries. If it were united like the EU or America, then one massive military, Africa would be able to control most of the natural resources that the world is in need of. Imagine a united Africa with military as large as China, with infinite amounts of resources and manpower. Can you say Wakanda forever? Yeah, that's why they have them chopped up. They knew what they were doing when they did the Berlin conference, and they chopped up Africa. And that's the same reason why they killed Gaddafi too, because he was bringing countries together. So yeah, we were just talking about the safety of this guy. He'd be a lot safer if you had a number of countries. You do have a couple of countries that's working with Burkina Faso, because Niger is in there. There's another one, I can't think of it right now. But yeah, if you had a large number of African countries working together and had a military, like it was like a United States, it would be like a United Africa States or whatever, it would be much more difficult for them to come in and just pick out the leaders and all of that. So yeah, that is all the way the answer right there for them. United States of Africa. It says, now watch Israel and USA intervene, create turmoil and bloodshed in the name of human rights and freedom. The moment any country opposed them, they turn civilians against each other. Another one says, they effed for letting the world know, especially America. Now they'll need freedom or they'll accuse them of having nuclear weapons. Another one says, Nigeria should learn from you guys. Nigeria is so heavily corrupted. They just want that Western money more than anything. And Nigeria is kind of like, to me, Nigeria is looking a lot like the old South Africa. Another comment that says, Congo is next, please. Lord Most High, let it happen. Miracle leaders await, please. Another one, well, see, the Congo is like a different situation. And then like the resources in the Congo are so valuable, like over the top valuable. And they've been keeping turmoil up in Congo for a long time. You know, they fund these different rebel groups and have them fighting against each other, you know, and that's what keeps things going the way that they're going. As long as you have these rebel groups at war, then, you know, if you could get those rebel groups to fight together against the actual enemies, but they're funded by the enemies. So when you have some kid who doesn't have nothing and then you give him everything and a machine gun, like he's gonna go with that. Like he's not thinking about the future or like what he could really do for his people. He's thinking about himself and his family. You can't really blame that kid for making that decision. He's coming out of the dirt. It's really sad. Says Ted Cruz bill would bar federal funds to enforce preferred pronouns. Critics call out his preferred name. This is funny. Ted Cruz will bar federal funds to enforce preferred pronouns. Critics call out his preferred name. It's like, so he doesn't want people to use preferred pronouns or whatever you feel about that, whatever. But then Ted Cruz is like, hey, what is your real name, bro? Like, why do you go by Ted? Is there a reason why you don't go by your real name? Let's read this. History Chronicle says Senator Ted Cruz has introduced a bill that will bar the government spending money on workplace efforts to enforce the use of preferred names and pronouns in referring to trans people. The irony, critics point out, the senator, whose legal name is Rafael Edward Cruz, uses a preferred name himself, Ted. Why you don't want people to call you Rafael, bro? Why you don't want people to call Raphael is your government name, bro? You know, if them people can't use their pronouns, why can you use some different name? Raphael. Everybody knows you as Ted, Raphael. What's up with that? It says the Safeguarding Honest Speech Act, introduced on November 15th, will prohibit the use of funds to implement, administer, or enforce measures requiring certain employees to refer to an individual by the preferred pronouns of such individual or a name that other than the legal name of such individual and for other purposes. The bill is not likely to go anywhere with the Democratic-controlled Senate, according to Advocate on LGBT News Source. A lot of the stuff that Ted does, he just does it knowing that it's not going to get passed, but it gives him like brownie points or whatever. He's just one of those people who's like, look at me, look what I've done, look what I do, you know. I don't like this guy. Like, I do not like him. So it said prefer pronouns of such individual or the name other than the legal name of such individual. So, hey, Ted, your legal name is Raphael. So, you know, you don't want them people to use their legal name, anything other than their legal name. But everybody knows you as Ted, buddy. Let's read some comments. It says the Latino committee offers to trade Ted Cruz for a bag of Takis. This is the Latino committee. That's a ode to Dave Chappelle's show, a skit from Dave Chappelle's show. So Anyways, it says like Ted or hate him, the bill makes sense. Okay, that's fine. I'm not really talking about the subject matter of the bill and it's how much it makes sense or whatever. I'm just saying that it's just like what they're saying here. It's just hypocritical of this guy. Out of anybody who could have introduced the bill, somebody else who's going by their actual real name should have introduced the bill, not this guy his name is Raphael, but he likes to be called Ted. He don't want nobody else to be called by a name that's other than their legal name. Nobody even know. Most people don't even know this guy's real name. And it's like, wonder why you don't want to be called Raphael, bro. Like, you're all hardcore on immigration and like, but Raphael, you probably just got off the boat. It says Raphael Edward Cruz, who uses the preferred name Ted, introduces a bill into Congress to limit the use of preferred names and pronouns. These jokes just write themselves. It says, yes, the party of less government involvement, working hard to solve this country's biggest issues. Yeah, like, see, that's another thing related to this. Like, whether it makes sense or not or whatever, like, out of all the things that we have going on, like, this is what you choose to spend your time working on. Like, this is really going to help American citizens. Like, how is this going to help us? You know what I mean? We are worried about paying our mortgage and paying our rent and buying groceries. You know what I'm saying? We're worried about inflation. We're worried about a possible World War III. This guy is worried about preferred pronouns. It's laughable. Another comment says, yes, I read that. Nobody likes you, Ted. Another comment says, we should call him Raphael. We totally should. It says, how does this bill help anyone? Bam! That's what I just said. It says, this Mexican supports this bill. Another comment says, all the problems we're facing in this country, and this is what he's wasting time and tax dollars on. This is corporate HR policy, not a federal bill. Pretty much what I just said. Cuba Canadian immigrant Raphael Cancun Cruz. This guy is the guy. This guy. Forget about this guy. Just forget about it. Forget about the pronouns, Teddy. It's the guy. It's the guy that guy. I don't know why the screen does this. It's annoying as hell. Try to scroll and it just flips.
Of the top 10 murder rates in the United States of America are red states. He has a 66% higher gun death rate than the state of California. He has a higher murder rate. Go to places like Jacksonville. Go to places like Orlando. Go to places like Tampa. The murder rate's off the charts compared to cities like San Francisco. And you know what? Even more egregiously, Sean, and I think this is important, the American people deserve an answer from you, Ron. You had one of the worst mass shootings in American history, Parkland. 17 kids were gunned down, lives lost, 17 others, lives torn asunder. You had a young girl by the name of Jamie Gutenberg, whose father pleaded with you to do something about it. And you know what you did? You did the exact opposite. You made it easier for felons to get guns without background checks, without any training. These people pleaded with you, the parents and the families, to get tough on gun safety. And again, you made it easier for felons. He said of you, Ron, and I agree with him, after you signed that concealed carry bill, which increases the likelihood, Fred Gutenberg said, of more Jamies losing their lives and more Parklands, he called you weak, pathetic, and small. So with respect, I appreciate you're talking to police officers in the state of California. You may want to spend a little bit more time, not on the Ohio Trail and other places across this country. You may spend a little more time back in your home state and address the murder and gun violence in your own backyard.
So this is the murder rate.
7 of the top 10 murder rates in the United States of America are red states. He has a 66%.
Says 7 of the top 10 murder rates are in red states. And they're always like, oh, that's a Democratic city. And I'm like, oh, Republican state. It's really kind of silly when you say like, oh, that's a Democratic city, or that's a or that's a Republican city. Either way, with your talking points or whatever, because you know it, the demographics of the city, all of the things related to the city, and then you want to point at whether it's Republican led or Democratic led, and then a lot of times your argument doesn't even work, because if you put up Republican cities next to the Democratic cities and make a list and use the actual statistics of whatever topic that you're talking about, your argument is going to be thrown out of the window. But people don't know this information. So when people say stuff like, oh, it's a Democratic city, and then they look and they see it's a lot of poverty, or it's killing, or it's a bunch of homeless people, or whatever, and then it just kind of simply makes sense. But it makes sense only when you're not looking at all of the information. So that kind of stuff works for people who are ignorant. And that's the thing, though. Most of us don't know this information. And then with our media, like we were talking about, the conglomerates controlling the information, people don't know. They have to take the time out of their day to actually do some research. And that's why I say, look that shit up yourself. Don't take my word for it for anything. And don't take somebody else's word for it for anything. Look it up yourself and see what the damn data says, you know. But, we're busy. We got a lot going on. We're trying to pay bills and stuff. So we're just scrolling and we catch a TikTok video or whatever, and it tells us information and we run with it. So it says Gavin Newsom destroys Ron DeSantis. You're weak, pathetic, and small. Yeah, man. I really think that DeSantis's campaign is on life support. It won't be long. I don't think he's gonna end up bowing out. Comments. It says DeSantis was scorched. Long overdue that this kind of calling out was done, and in their own safe space too. Who's next? Could Newsom just make a list and take them out one by one? This is exactly how these nut wagons need to be dealt with. Another comment says he was shaking in his heels. Oh, it's a joke about him wearing heels, and it kind of looks like it too. Like he wears these boots all the time. And then, like, if you look at the way he walks, they're saying that there's heel in his boot to make him seem taller, to make him look taller. Nobody really knows if it's true or not. But anyways, the internet has latched on to that, and that's where that comment comes from. Let's read another one. It says, I've been telling y'all for years, DeSantis is not a good governor or even a good politician. He won in Florida because Democrats haven't put him up against anyone worthwhile. Look how Governor Newsom wiped the floor with him. Another one, capitalism destroys other capitalists, no longer interests me. I agree with that. It says, I love it that Fox has these guys on just so Newsom could beat their tar out of DeSantis. It says, Commie Gavin loves stomping on the Constitution. Another one, it says, Republicans' two big weaknesses, evidence and accountability. Another one, Dems need to take lessons from Gavin and how to deal with Republicans and their shenanigans rhetoric. Another comment says, Republicans really have nothing to say when they're shot down with facts, and they can't use their hypothetical conspiracy theories as their argument. Using his own words against him left him embarrassed. Another one, unfortunately, it's not felons who are committing mass murder. Another comment, it says, refreshing to hear Newsom's pointer articulate in calm and clear voice, which is odd to say because not that long ago, it used to be the norm for politicians to speak their way. Yeah, you had Trump come in and he changed that up. So the pause has ended. It says the humanitarian pause just ended. Imagine yourself for a moment trapped in Gaza as sounds of artillery and explosives grow nearer as the ruthless murderous Zionist army closes in on you. Psychopathic, bloodthirsty, unimaginable, and effing terrorizing. This must be stopped. Welcome to our meme page. Da, 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 da. Let's move on. Wait. Why is it the screen is different? The clip I wanted to, oh, that's why, because of this. Okay, let's do this. It says during the humanitarian pause in Gaza, Israelis killed a 9-year-old and a 15-year-old in the West Bank, and a settler in Lod violently attacked and stabbed a pregnant Palestinian citizen of Israel to death while she was taking her children to school. So yeah, so the pause, some of the reasons why, the ceasefire ended was because there was conflict happening during the ceasefire. And so there was reports of a guy, I saw the video where he was shooting Israelis at a bus stop. A guy got out of his car or something, and he was just popping random people while they were waiting at a bus stop, And then there's the video of these 2 kids who got popped by Israeli soldiers. One kid got popped in the head. He died on the scene. And they said that the kid was throwing rocks. In the video, you couldn't see them throwing rocks, but even if he was, like, they didn't really justify him getting popped like that. But that kind of thing happens all the time. And the other thing with the guy who was, they said it was Hamas who was shooting the people at the bus stop. That couldn't have been Hamas, but that still was a horrible thing to happen. It was probably just a random person, maybe a Palestinian or whatever, maybe just a Muslim who were, it could have just been a random shooting too. I mean, like, either way, it doesn't really matter. It was horrible. So those things were happening, and that made it hard for the ceasefire to get to go on. So, and I really wouldn't be surprised if you had people who, the ones that didn't want the ceasefire to continue, to do things or pay someone to do things to make it hard for the ceasefire to continue. So, false flag type of stuff. Let's read this. It says 22 communities in the West Bank were ethnically cleansed, home demolished have continued, illegal settlements have continued to be built. Israel has captured hundreds of hostages per week without charges, outnumbering the number of hostages they've released. It says Israel has outlawed any celebrations by Palestinians. Oh yeah, that might have been why those 2 kids was popped too. I don't know if it was that situation or if it was another one. It was like, they were doing the hostage exchange thing, and it was the Palestinians celebrating, and then you had Israel people pop, 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 pop. It's like they said you can't celebrate this. So it says, so Israel has outlawed any celebration by Palestinians as hostages are released, using tear gas, rubber-coated steel bullets, and live ammunition to disperse Palestinians who are there to receive their family members being released after years of torture and sexual assault in Israel prisons. It says, and there it is, always effing circles back to oil, God effing. It says, U.S. President Joe Biden's energy security advisor is visiting Israel to discuss potential economic revitalization plans for Gaza centered around undeveloped offshore natural gas fields. Now, this is the only place I saw this, and in this Haaretz.com, I never heard of that. So I don't know if this is actually true. I would not be surprised, but it would definitely be a bad look, like it would be a bad photo op, or the optics of it will be really bad if this actually happened. President Joe Biden's energy security advisor is visiting Israel to discuss potential economic revitalization plans for Gaza centered around undeveloped offshore natural gas fields. Now, it's true that you have these undeveloped offshore natural gas fields. That is true. And a lot of people are saying, well, the conflict is not necessarily just rooted in this, but, Israel is trying to make like a competition to the Silk Road or whatever. And Gaza is in the way of that. So that is actually true. But, and at some point you can see them getting to the point where doing this. But doing this now would have a really bad look. So, like I said, I don't know that this is actually true. I wouldn't be surprised necessarily, but I think that they would do it in unofficial channels. and not use the actual security advisor and go over there. And because if someone took some pictures then and that got out, it would be a bad look. It says the international community had a week to move to meet its obligation under the Genocide Convention to stop the deliberate American-Israeli extermination campaign in Gaza. They did nothing. Palestinians truly have no one but their resistance to fight this purest of pure evil. So,
intrinsic part of Israel's project, the material, physical, geographic separation, and then the separation of Palestinians into identities so that we're not seen as one. We're not seen as like a monolith. Palestinians. No, there's the Palestinians of Jerusalem, they have a specific ID card. The Palestinians of the occupied West Bank, they have a specific ID card. The Palestinians in Gaza, which is, just a whole other level of oppression and occupation. And then the Palestinian citizens of Israel, who are not afforded the same rights as Jewish Israeli citizens. It's so blatant. And of course, Israel controls all of these populations that I just named. The Palestinian Authority does not have authority. That's a misnomer. It essentially now acts as the security arm of the Israeli state in the occupied West Bank, carrying out the repression, carrying out.
There's no possibility, if you read the documents, there's no possibility of a Palestinian state. There's never going to be a Palestinian state achieved. It's not done to develop a Palestinian state. The terms of the Declaration of Principles, also known as Oslo, is basically an autonomy program. It's a framework of derivative sovereignty where Palestinians will have autonomous, lands over some of its lands and some of its peoples, or what we know as Area A, that becomes a permanent occupation.
anyways, to give the Palestinians their state, for there to be like a two-state solution, it would be like the United States giving the Aboriginal Americans, the Native Americans, a state and having a two-state solution here in the United States back when you had the Indian Wars or whatever you want to call them. And they made deals with them or whatever, but there was never any plan to give them real autonomy or have if you sliced the United States in half and you gave half of it to the Native Americans, and that part wouldn't be called the United States, it would be called whatever. There was never no plan for nothing like that. So that's the same thing that's going on over there. When they talk about two-state solution, they're not saying it in earnest. It said the biggest con job in history is how America and Europe managed to market themselves as the champions of democracy and human rights for so long. These entities are and have always been the most genocidal on the planet. Let's read some of this. It says the humanitarian pause just ended. Imagine, I read that. Let's move on. I'm so tired of covering this. I mean, I kind of have to cover it. It's like the biggest story, but I don't enjoy covering it. It's like the same thing over and over again. And everybody has already made their decisions. Nobody is going to be moved on that topic, no matter what information comes out about it. This one, breaking. George Santos has been expelled from Congress. It only took stealing from donors to fund Botox in Hermes bags. So this clip right here shows the vote, and you got 105 Republicans yay and 206 Democrats yay. You got 112 Republicans nay and 2 Democrats nay. So the total is 311 yay, 114 nay. So he is out of there. He is done. It's a done deal for that guy. Couple comments. It says, which Democrat voted not? Another one that says, and yet the GOP was almost 50% divided. Another comment that says, commit all the crimes you want and they won't go after you unless you defraud the wealthy. That's the only crimes that they care enough about to prosecute. There's a lot of truth to that. If you want to go to jail, rob some really rich folks, defraud some really rich folks. They're coming for your head. That's what happened to the FTX guy. That's how he got out of there. He probably could have kept going doing what he was doing, but he screwed over some big wigs, so he had to go. Another comment says, how do we find the Dems who voted no? I'm confused, but yet not surprised. I'm sure you could do a search on that and pull that up. Another comment says 112 Republicans still said no. Another one says, can we expel everyone and start fresh? And like the thing about he said, which Democrats voted no. I mean, I don't see, like that's not a big deal. Like really, like screw this guy Santos, screw him and whatever. So if it was a couple of Democrats, they might have had a reason related to, not wanting to expel people from Congress because they don't want to set precedents to have this thing be, because like again, like it's a lot of other stuff that they could be doing. They're supposed to be drafting laws, that's what they're supposed to be doing, like spending their time like kicking people out of Congress and censoring. They spent forever on censoring Rashida Tlaib. Meanwhile, like I say, the American people struggling with their bills and inflation and price gouging. Our healthcare system is a mess. I mean, go down the list. We're worried about going to World War III, but they're doing this. So if the two Democrats that voted against that was the reason, then whatever. Same thing with the 112 Republicans that voted, nay. Like, can we move on and actually do some stuff to help the American people? Like, that's why we're here for. Like, how does this help anybody, expelling George Santos? How does this help American people in any kind of way? Again, I don't like the guy. I'm glad he's gone, but like they could be using their time better. Another comment, it says, can we expel everyone and start fresh? That was a silly, stupid comment. Another one says, can we do MTG next? Whatever. Another one says, the only fan accounts he subscribed to. It says another one, just wait until Trump's donors learn he's stealing their money to pay his lawyers. Oh, wait. Another one that says, good now, do the actual fascists. Good riddance. Imagine what kind of person it takes to vote nay on this. I just explained the reason why you could be voting nay against that guy. I think he should go to jail. So hopefully that's what's coming next. Let's read this. It says, to this day, I have not been invited to a BET thing or a Source Award thing. And it's like, here's a Black artist who has reintroduced many Black art forms, who has broken down barriers, just like those that came before me broke down. That is positive. And they don't have anything to say about it. Lenny Kravitz, on how he's been treated by Black entertainment and culture outlets via Esquire. This is interesting to me because, yes, I'm a fan of Lenny Kravitz. He's got nice stuff, and yeah, so I was surprised when I scrolled and I saw this, and it's like, so I guess because of the kind of music that he makes, they don't feel like, they want to recognize this guy. So it's like, what? Because the music that he makes him not Black, so he doesn't fit in with the Black community or whatever. He's not. That smoke alarm keeps going off. The Black community don't want to claim him or whatever, like, or is it because like if he got on the show he couldn't perform? Like what? But no Black people listen to this kind of music that he makes. Clearly Black people listen to this kind of music that he makes because he's a Black person and he makes the music. Like, I don't understand that. It's like the way the genres are set up is so like on racial lines, but music don't have a race to it. Music is just music. A good song is a good song. And you got Black people who listen to country music. You got white people who listen to rap music. Really, white people is the biggest rap music consumers that's out there. They're the ones who buy the stuff and go look at a concert of a major rap artist and look at who's in the audience. Like, I don't know. It's like a old school lines that have been drawn up that it's kind of like when you got like a person that's sitting in a boardroom making these decisions based on some schematics and analytics. And that's what decides it. So it's like that's probably how it was with BET or what's the other one he mentioned? The Source Awards or whatever. Like some guy sitting in the office looking at analytics made the decision to be like, yeah, we don't want to, why recognize Lenny Kravitz? Like that's not going to bring anything to our bottom line, or it's not going to make any money for us, or it's not going to attract any advertisers or something. I don't know. Like, but the culture would benefit from it, and the culture would appreciate it. You know, it's like I was reading something. It was like they were talking about there's a market for everything. So there's a market for black people and Lenny Kravitz. Like I don't know. You can't really blame the black community for this because it's probably not them who's even running, BET or the Source anyway. So comment. Isaiah Carey Fox posted this. He says, I'm sure he's not owned by the majors. That's why he wasn't invited. So that's interesting too. That's a spin on it. So if he's independent or whatever, they don't have the inside like handshakes, backroom deals going on, and anything that happened would benefit him directly. And they don't like to draw any attention to artists that's not under the big umbrellas because the major corporations want to make money off of it. And if they're not making any money off of it, then what's the point in covering it? Another one that says, that's because he's not degrading black women, promoting violence and misogyny, promoting drug dealing. There goes another good point right there, too. So it's like, there's something to that when it comes to like, quote unquote, black music and this like degrading violence, misogyny thing going on. It's like, and that's not the only music that black people make or enjoy or whatever, but that tends to be what gets promoted and what gets played, and the artists that get signed or whatever. I was reading something and they were talking about how like the record executives, when a artist is making an album and then he submits the songs to them and then they're like, wait, you need music about songs about this or whatever, or that's the album's not coming out, like we're not going to release this unless you do some of this stuff or whatever. And again, that could be related to some guy looking at analytics again or whatever, or conspiracy theorists hat on. Now it could be because they know the power of music, and even though they want to make money, and the derogatory stuff is what the kids kind of attach to or whatever, but they can attach to positive stuff too. But they know the power of music, so then they use it as a weapon against a certain community. Another comment that says, he's right. I'd love to see him and other artists like Tracy Chapman invited to participate and honored. Their contribution is important as well. Completely agree with that. And the music is great too. Another comment says, yep, black folks don't think he does black music, quote unquote, not realizing that we created rock, blues, gospel, and more. Another one, but they nominated Jack Harlow. Somebody make it make sense. Another one. I mean, was he making himself available for her when he was on the cover of Rolling Stones? He wasn't really worried about us when he was at his peak. He could have used his huge platform at the time to elevate black media. I'm just saying. Whatever. What are you talking about? He can't control what they put on their platform. So what? He was supposed to be talk about BET or the Source in some of his songs or something to draw attention to them? For what? It says the fact that BET Awards doesn't have a best rock album or best dance album category speaks the truth of what he said, especially dance, because internationally we dominate that genre. The other side of it is he probably doesn't have many black publicists or PR on his team that are actively working to connect him to black media. Another one. I've been in love with Leonard Albert Kravitz since 1989. Folks used to talk a lot of crap about him and me for listening to him. Said he made white music, quote unquote. Said his hair was gross, all kinds of stuff. Now, some of those same people are calling him Zaddy. He's talked about this kind of stuff for decades. Unfortunately, some, not all, black folks don't support rock music, even though our people created it. So this doesn't surprise me. I hope this changes soon. Let love rule. Yeah, there's more to that story, really, like undertones of issues in our society. It says the New York Times said that Israel knew about Hamas attack plan over a year ago. Israel knew Hamas attack plan more than a year ago. A blueprint reviewed by the Times laid out the attack in detail. Israel officials dismissed it as aspirational and ignored specific warnings. Yeah, so this story has been gaining steam and floating around, and I believe it's true. They knew about it. They just thought it was bullshit, you know. It was like, ain't no way they're gonna try to do some stuff like this. And that's one of the reasons why they're bombing, you know, Gaza all to hell, is because they were embarrassed, you know, and that's the worst thing to do to them. That's what they care about more than anything, you know. They don't want to be embarrassed. And they got embarrassed by the October 7th attack that Hamas did on Israel, you know, because they're big and bad and tough, and they got like one of the state-of-the-art equipment, military, fences, walls, surveillance, all of that. And these guys with hang gliders and motorcycles and power boats was able to, you know, leave them all messed up, you know, really do them in. And it was embarrassing. So because of that, they got to go in on, and they're going to go in on them for a long time. Like, it's really sad. Another one, it says, let's read the comments. It says, dismissed it. Is Israel going for the I'm just a small boy angle in the press now? Another one, it says, they let it happen so they could defend themselves. Some people are saying that, and I kind of get where they're coming from with that on the conspiracy theory level, but I really don't think that's the case. You know, I don't think that's the case, that they let it happen, you know, and that's again making it excuse for them, like they didn't get caught with their pants down. They totally got caught with their pants down. They didn't let them catch them with their pants down. They got caught with their pants down. They didn't let them do it, because that makes it look like, you know, their dominance, their strength is still like there or whatever. And then it wouldn't be embarrassing if they were the ones who let it happen. You know, that's taking away the power or whatever. That's taking away the abilities of, you know, their enemies. You know, it makes them look weak, and that's what they don't like. It says, NYT wants to get your subscription for another year. I haven't renewed mine yet. Another one that says, they are proving they wanted this happen so they could colonize Gaza. It doesn't seem like they care about the hostages. I agree with the part about doesn't care about the hostages, but they wanted this to happen? No. They didn't want their people to get become hostages. They didn't want their people to get killed. They didn't want to be embarrassed. No, they did not want that. They wanted things to go on and continue the way they had been going for years. They didn't want that. Damn topic keeps popping up. Everybody's talking about this. Is this the clip? Yeah, this is the clip.
There's advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger
I hope
today.
they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go
yourself.
Go F yourself. The dude is stunned. Look, he don't know what to say.
Go yourself.
He's like, is that clear?
Is that clear? I hope it is.
I hope
Hey, Bob,
that's clear.
if you're in the audience.
There was all of the criticism. There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger
I hope
today.
they stop.
You hope
don't advertise.
you don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go yourself.
Go F yourself.
But
go yourself.
The dude is stunned.
Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
there was all of the criticism. There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger
I hope
today.
they stop.
You hope
don't advertise.
I hope they stop.
you don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go yourself.
He's like, he's stunned. Look at him.
But
you don't know what to
go
say.
yourself. Is that clear?
I'm sorry I played it 3 times, but this is gold right here. Like, go F yourself. Like, the balls, man, this makes, I'm not always like, I feel like a lot of people worship Elon Musk, you know, and I'm not one of those guys, like, at all. But at the same time, this one right here is great. This is fantastic right here. So it's like, you know, he's standing on what he believes in. He's standing on it. He's not backing off it. It's like, they always want to like control you. They always want to put you in a corner. They always want to put you in a box and be like, it's like, you're supposed to care about money. You're supposed to care about advertising. You're supposed to care about, you know, how much money your company is making or whatever, and all of this. Like, so they can you know, blackmail you, or they can, you know, control you or whatever. This guy's like, y'all can't control me, man. I'm, you know, always rich as hell anyways. Like I don't care. Like, it's like, you're supposed to want to make more money. Like, I'll be thinking, like, what is the amount that is enough for you? Like, if anybody out there listening, how much is enough when you get to the point where you're like, I got enough money. Like, I'm not tripping on money. Like, I don't have to make any more. Like, it's whatever. I'm good. You know, how much? What is the number for you for that? You know, where you're completely free and you just, you know, don't care anymore what people think or whatever, your image or whatever. Like, you know, I think this guy's reached that number. but even before the money, I think that he, you know, he just doesn't want to like allow people to push him around, you know. I commend that shit, man. I commend the hell out of that. I don't have nearly as much money. I don't have any money really, but I aspire to have that feeling of like, I'm not going to allow people to push me around and control me or whatever, you know, make me feel bad about how I feel about things or whatever. Like, this is great. I love it. Let's read this. Sky News posted this. Elon Musk has launched a fiery attack on advertisers who have stopped promoting on his social media platform X, telling them to go F themselves. He says, at the New York Times Deal Book Summit on Wednesday, the ex-boss was asked about American firms, including Disney, who pulled ads after he apparently endorsed the anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. And they keep calling it an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, and it's whatever. That's them narratizing, making it a narrative, you know, and everyone just rolls with it or whatever. So that shows the power of a certain group of people in our society or world or whatever. But like, what did he say? Hi, Bob, at the end? That was a shot to Disney. Comments. It says, I think he expected a huge round of applause twice. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it was that the guy was stunned and was like, what do you mean? Like, and Elon Musk was like, I mean, can I be more clear? Like, freaking go after yourself. I don't care. He said, I hope they don't advertise on my shit. Go do something else. Go find something else to do with your time. Like, I don't care. He just wanted to be clear. Because the guy was like, what? What do you mean? Like, you don't care that they freaking pull their advertisement? That wasn't the answer that this guy was looking for. he's expecting some kind of political answer, and some groveling to hopefully get some of those advertisers back. But no, he doubled down and was like, screw it. Screw y'all. Matter of fact, just go screw yourself. Comments, it says, now that's what a backbone looks like. Another one, it says, love him. Wish more companies would give this globalist the middle finger. Another one, embarrassingly cringy man child, all that money and still miserable. I don't know where you get that from that. Another one, it says, not a good businessman. Respect your customers. Not a good businessman. And that's what I was saying. Like, it's supposed to be all about, that's why the way our society is designed is all about how much money you make, how much profit you make, like money is the end all to be all. It's the only thing that's important. Like, well, what about respect? What about character? What about integrity? What about truth? What about justice? You know what I mean? What about happiness? What about like work-life balance? All of that stuff takes a backseat to profits, right? Your investors, right? That's what should be important. It's like, he's not a good businessman. Psh, apparently he's good. I mean, he's rich as fuck. Like, another comment that says, you heard the man the first time. Another comment says, oh, now I see why he changed his tune and went all the way to Israel. They were blackmailing him for being anti-Semitism. Money talk even for Eon. That's not true. When he went to Israel, he was talking about opening up his company to allow them to use it in Palestine to get on the internet. And he was asking Israel for permission. He didn't want any drama. That's business. That's how you do it. I mean, like, it doesn't matter really what side you're on the whole thing. It's a thing you want to do. There's the powers that be within that region or whatever. You want to go through those channels and make sure that things are good so that they don't come through and, like, I don't know, blow up your equipment or something. Like, he was talking about on the internet for Palestinians, and he went to Israel to get their okay on it. So, talking about they were blackmailing him for being anti-Semitism, so that's the reason why he went to Israel. That is not what it was, Patricia in Istanbul. Look it up. It's totally easily Googleable. Man, child, another comment that says, who cannot be bought cannot be corrupted. Telling you, man. And my ass is poor as hell, but I'm not that guy either. Like, I don't care. I'm gonna do and say what the hell I want, for me, so I can feel good about myself and I can sleep at night. It's whatever. Like, it's whatever. I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm infallible. Somebody came through and said, I'm gonna give you $1 billion to say some stuff online that's not what you believe in. I don't know. I might fucking do it. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm fucking a saint over here, but I would love to stand on character, truth, integrity. I want to respect myself at the end of the day. Another comment says, he's not wrong. You can't blackmail a billionaire with money. He's got enough already. Another one that says, money doesn't buy you respect. Another one, nah, but seriously, he's got a point. You can't blackmail a man to conform in your way or you stop advertising. Those who stop advertising deserve to get boycotted for going against a platform supporting free speech. Power to free speech, power to the people, more power to X. And I think at the end of the day, this is going to work in his favor. He might be playing 3D chess on them. People are going to turn around and boycott Disney, and they're going to go on X. And then he's going to get advertisers from other places. Another one that says, when he said he tremendously admires Kanye West, y'all didn't get it. I think calling out the truth, calling out shady people, even if they're in positions of power, and even if you're rich, is a commendable thing to do. I covered this earlier, but let's read it again. It says, breaking MSNBC is canceling Mehdi Hassan's show. Mehdi has been outspoken about crimes Israel is committing in Palestine and about how Muslims and Arab voters in the U.S. are disillusioned with Biden. So it might be not because of the coverage of Israel, it might be what he said about Biden that get him up out of there, because him being on MSNBC, you know, you're supposed to toe the line. The thing about the Democrats, they fall in line lockstep every time, you know. So all of those liberal leaning or, you know, Democratic side media outlets, you know, they don't, none of them ever talk bad about Biden. Not really. So it's like, you talk bad about Biden, your rating's kind of low. Let's get you up out of there. You don't deserve to have your own show. Now you learn to not talk bad about the Biden, because you're going to F around and give Trump the presidency. Well, you know what? You Democrats, y'all are the ones that's giving Trump the presidency, because this is my prediction right now. He's going to win. And I think it's because y'all not giving people anything to vote for. You want to give people something to vote against. And you don't have any policy. So, you know, it's already shaky. The Democrats are already having a hard time. And then you got this guy on MSNBC, which is like the stronghold for the Democrats, talking bad about Biden and swaying those voters. That's a problem. It's not about the damn the ratings, I think. It's about them, you know, their whole job is to, you know, influence the voters. So if he's influencing voters, you know, directly or indirectly to not vote for Biden, that's a problem for them. They don't want to give him a platform to do that. Comments, it says, and they're considered left-wing media in this country. What a joke. Our media, much like our politics, ranges from right-wing on the left to full-on fascism on the right. Yeah, I don't think we really have a left in this country. And I don't think we really have a left media in this country either. Neoliberal, yes. Left, not so much. It says, despicable. He's one of the most intelligent and skilled interviewers. I'm telling you, they're losing something. So hopefully he goes work for some. He still works for them. They didn't fire him. They just got him off of his cancel his show, so he gets to do like spots on other people's show or whatever. So then he doesn't really get to do the news stories that he wants to do or whatever. So man, hopefully he leaves them and goes, shit, he could go work for X. That would be great. So X already has Tucker Carlson, you know, and X is all about I need to do something about that. X is all about free speech. If they're all about free speech, then they need to be covering both sides of the issues. You know, you got Tucker Carlson on the right saying what he's saying. It'd be great if you got Mehdi Hassan on X talking his stuff on there. That'd be great. Comment says, so he got fired for doing his job, reporting the news. Every industry I've worked will typically expel top-tier employees because they feel threatened. He didn't get fired. His show got canceled. There's a difference. He still works for MSNBC. Another one says, even if you disagree with him, I don't, like Mehdi, canceling his show just shows how afraid they are of trying to defend their stance. It's not as if Mehdi is some controversial guy. This is an embarrassment to MSNBC and a great example of how corporate-owned media consistently fails to properly inform the citizens of the U.S. This is a great comment right here. And it's also why people are leaving mainstream media in droves and watching little shows like this one, like mine. And, you know, they don't feel comfortable, you know, listening to any of them. Fox, CNN, MSNBC, you know, you name it, CBS. You know, they're tired of the opinion talking heads coming from one side and talking at us and thinking that we're all stupid, telling us what to think, thinking that we can't make up our own minds. Like, if you just give us the information and we can just draw conclusions, and instead they're telling us what conclusions we're supposed to draw. And if we don't draw those conclusions, then we're stupid. So people are like, man, we're not watching this shit no more. And independent news media is blowing up as a result. Another comment, it says, gotta make sure your propaganda has one unified message. It says, don't get mad, boycott MSNBC, don't watch the channel. Shit, that's already been happening. Shit, they hardly get views. Freaking, what is it? It's an independent show, Breaking Points. Breaking Points gets more views than MSNBC right now. And they're just a little old YouTube show. Another comment. That is censorship. He told the truth from a much needed perspective. Shame on you. You have lost credibility. Another one. I love and respect Mehdi Hassan. He is the only show I DVR on MSNBC. Sick of MSNBC canceling hosts who speak honestly and without fear. Mehdi deserves more airtime, not to be canceled. We need a show co-hosted by Mehdi and Elie Mystal, two unafraid and intelligent truth tellers. One more. It says, I love see when our country praises and defends democracy, freedom of thinking and speech. What an example for the free world. Attention, alive sarcasm. One more. It says, eliminate diverse voices and manufacture consent. I stopped watching CNN for the warmongering ways and have recently stopped watching MSNBC after seeing their blatant bias towards Israel. These outlets are shameful and embarrassing. Yep, yep, and yep.
Of me bringing up student debt, but
can't play this because they got that song in the background. It says high wait times, false information, egregiously wrong billing amounts, and so much more. We fight to cancel student debt. We must hold student loan services accountable for their incompetence. That's why the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau work is more critical than ever before. So, Ayanna Presley, I wish I could play this clip, but it says, why did you vote yes on Resolution 888? It says, your ally cosplay had me going. Shame on you for voting yes on 888. I don't know what that one is. I don't know what they're talking about. Let's move on because I can't play the clip. UAW launches largest organizing drive in modern American history. I might come back to that. Wait, does it have a clip of what's his name talking in here? Yeah, it does. Let's play this to give myself a break.
Without the benefits of a union, now it's your turn. Since we began our stand-up strike, the response from auto workers at non-union companies has been overwhelming. Workers across the country, from the West to the Midwest, and especially in the South, are reaching out to join our movement and to join the UAW. So go to uaw.org/join. The money is there, the time is right, and the answer is simple. You don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. You don't have to worry about how you're going to pay your rent or feed your family while the company makes billions. A better life is out there. It starts with you, UAW. To all the auto workers out there working without the benefits of a union, now it's your turn. Since we began our stand-up strike,
Excuse me. It says, UAW Union is launching the largest union organizing drive in modern American history. Auto workers at more than a dozen non-union companies are announcing simultaneous campaigns to join the union at uaw.org/join. The push will cover nearly 150,000 workers. This is a great idea. Unions are weak, and when unions are weak, Pay is low, sick leave, paid vacation, 401k, retirement, all that stuff is gonna be weak. The corporations, they're never gonna do right by people. They have to be forced to do it. And I know people don't like that word forced, but whatever. I don't care that you don't like that word. These people are gonna screw over people. They're gonna hire kids. They're gonna not pay people if they can get away with it. Their incentive is to make money. So, we need unions so that workers can have power. That's the only power that workers have is their labor. That's the only leverage that they have is their labor. And as an individual, it's basically zero leverage because they'll just fire you and put somebody else in there. But when you come in as a group, you can leverage your labor. Let's see. United Auto Workers announced Wednesday that it has embarked on a historic campaign to organize roughly 150,000 workers at 13 non-union automakers. So we're talking about non-union people benefiting from the union. We're talking about strengthening unions and creating more unions. It says included in the campaign are the German 3, Volkswagen, Mercedes, and BMW, the Japanese and Korean 6, Toyota, Honda, Nissan, Hyundai, Subaru, and Mazda, American electric manufacturers, Tesla, Rivian, and Lucid. And there's it was a strike going on already at Tesla, but it was outside of the United States. I can't remember where it was at. And they're saying Elon Musk is not feeling that shit. He's not allowing them, he's not budging. New York Times, UAW announces drive to organize non-union plants. UAW members have long earned more than non-union workers. At plants in the South, wages tend to start below $20 an hour and top out at less than 30. The top UAW hourly wage, previously 32, climbed to more than 40 in the contracts the union signed with the 3 Detroit manufacturers. In October, after reaching an agreement with Ford, UAW President Shawn Fain said, when we return to the bargaining table in 2028, it won't just be with the big 3, but with the big 5 or big 6. And now it's happening. So this guy's emboldened. He was successful in what he tried to do, and he's not done. He's going to go in and push for more. It says organizing these plants won't be easy. The UAW suffered narrow but high-profile losses in 2024 and 2014 and 2019 at Volkswagen in Tennessee and in 2017 in Nissan in Mississippi, continuing the long history of organized labor struggle to break through in the South, but the tide could be shifting. We saw what the UAW members won, and it started us thinking that we as workers are worth a lot more than our company currently values us at. Says one of the first campaigns to go public could be at Toyota, Georgetown's assembly complex in Kentucky, now a right-to-work state, but one that has a long tradition of organized labor and governor who vocally supported the UAW strike. We've lost so much since I started here, and the raise won't make up for that. A union contract is the only way to win what's fair. It says, for updates, follow us on X. More perfect US. Yeah, so comments. It says, do you have any idea how proud I would be of Toyota, my favorite auto manufacturer, made their V8 pickup truck here in Texas, and it was union made? The people that are that are against this, I don't understand, because even if you don't work at in that industry, it benefits you if you're a worker. It spreads, and worker rights spread. And then wouldn't you like to feel comfortable if you were just a buyer, if you're just a consumer, wouldn't you be happy to buy products that was made here in the United States and benefited a co-American, someone made a decent wage making that vehicle for you? and it wasn't like built in another country and assembled here and stamped with a tag that said made in America, you know, and it strengthened our economy here in the States, forcing these companies to, you know, build their stuff here, and then causing us to have more manufacturing here in the States instead of benefiting China or somewhere else. This kind of thing is good for all of us here. It says rank and file voting makes unions work better, and having space for criticism by the ranks of the leadership and not being afraid of being bold is how unions have and will win. It says, want to see this kind of union organization across all industries. See, yes, we want to see it across all industries. Another comment, it says, they also tried to organize the BMW plant in South Carolina a while back, and that failed. Would love to see a second attempt succeed. It says, I'm saying it, fame for president. I don't know about that. It says, great, now cover their call for a ceasefire. It says, don't sleep on the fact that Rivian official at least retrofitted the old Mitsubishi Motors Bloomington plant using IUOE operating engineers. I don't know how much longer I'm going to go, y'all. It says, so let me get this straight. One of their co-founders of Moms for Liberty was busted for having a threesome with another woman, and her husband, who is the chairman of the Florida GOP, was charged with abusing the woman in their threesome. And these are the same people that keep trying to ban books to protect children from the morally repugnant left. Do I have that right? It's a comment. It says, as a Sarasota business owner and local resident, this is hilarious, but also sad. This woman is so important here on the school board, etc. But typical, let's point fingers at everyone else and pretend to be holier than Jesus. Meanwhile, her husband beating up her girlfriend. This woman needs to be removed from any position of authority ASAP. So I saw some of this. Let's see if we can find this. Let's see if we can find this. It's Moms for Liberty. What is that lady's name that's going through it? Hold on, let's see. What is her name? They didn't say her name. They didn't say her name in this. Abuse. Let's just do abuse. Abuse allegation or something. I might do it. 4 months ago. That's not it. Convicted of child sex offender. Is that it? 11 days ago. Hold on, y'all. Nope, that's not it. I don't see it. Hold on, y'all. Let me see if I can find this. I don't see it. Wait, is this it? Another Moms for Liberty leader revealed as a sex offender. I think this is it here. I don't know, this channel, Waldorf Nation. I don't know what he's going to say, but the headline sounds like it's what I was looking for. So let's play this.
Yet another prominent member of the hate group Moms for Liberty, maybe a sex offender. Oh no! According to an investigation report filed by Florida police, the state's GOP leader is being accused of rape. But wait, this story actually goes into some very interesting directions because it turns out that the wife of this GOP leader, again, who is the co-founder of Moms for Liberty, was involved in allegedly in a throuple. So the unidentified accuser told police that she and Florida Republican Party Chairman Christian Ziegler, along with Ziegler's wife, Bridget, had been in a, quote, long-standing consensual three-way sexual relationship prior to the incident, reported the Florida Center for Government Accountability, FLCGA, which first obtained the document. So, okay, it looks like we may have a case of
sexual anarchy,
which normally fun. In this case, not so much, because of this alleged assault, which the woman claims occurred at her home, and that Bridget was not there at the time. So now the publicly released version of the document doesn't name any names, addresses, doesn't have any identifying information. However, an accompanying story published by the FLCGA named Florida Republican Party Chair Christian Ziegler as the subject of the probe, which NBC News later said that it had indeed confirmed. Now, originally, this was heavily redacted. In fact, the only other visible text in the page-and-a-half-long narrative, the words, the sexual assault complaint, said the sexual assault allegation. Elsewhere in the report, the words stated and raped can be seen. So this is very, very serious stuff, okay? Police even have searched a cell phone belonging to Ziegler, who also allegedly recorded the woman without her consent during these threesome sexual encounters, according to sources cited by the FLCGA. So, look, you know me, I don't generally care about what people have, what people do in their private lives, in their sex lives, whatever. But one of the things that bugs me about this is the lack of consent. Obviously, I don't care if you're doing threesomes. I don't care if you're doing foursomes, fivesomes, orgies. It doesn't matter. I mean, how many do you have to go up to get to orgy anyway? Fivesomes, sixsomes, whatever. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I don't care if you do that. You have fun. Do it safely, obviously, and of course, consent paramount. But this did not involve consent. This particular incident, and of course, the presence of unsanctioned footage that was taken of this, again, without consent, bad. Don't like it. No bueno here, okay? So now Ziegler, Florida chair, Republican Party, he is also, since he's in that position, close to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and former President Donald Trump. Donald Trump has had his own issues with, allegations of rape and sexual assault, including being held liable in a civil suit by writer E. Jean Carroll. Now, that said, that's her husband, but Bridget is also a MAGA darling, and again, co-founder of the group Moms for Liberty, which vocally backs book bans in public schools across the United States and had supported DeSantis when he tried to pass his Don't Say Gay law. Now, that is some stunning hypocrisy. If she is indeed on the side having sex with this woman along with her husband and being bisexual, nothing wrong with being bisexual, but there is something wrong with passing laws against the LGBTQ community. B standing for bi. Look, I don't care if she's into the swinging lifestyle. I don't care if she's bi. I don't care if she's gay. Doesn't matter. Have at it. Have fun. Nothing wrong with that. But what I do hate is hypocrisy. Okay? And here you have somebody who's allegedly doing all this stuff in her life along with her husband and then turning around calling gay people, members of the LGBTQ community, immoral, and saying that that's the reason the American families are being destroyed. Wait, her husband ran on a pro-family values campaign, and yet is allegedly doing all this stuff, running, their family in basically counter to what he says the family should be. Okay, stunning hypocrisy.
Yeah, so that's what drew my attention, is that it's hypocrisy. She's Moms for Liberty, and and then her husband is all running on this, pro family stuff, and then they're doing this stuff, and it only comes out because one of the person that they were involved in felt like she was being mistreated or whatever, assaulted or whatever. So then it comes out, and then people grab on to it because Moms for Liberty is pushing against the books in the schools and all of this, which is fine or whatever. But if you're on that stuff and you standing on it, then stand on it. I mean, if you're living your life one way and then you're in public saying something different, then that it means you have no integrity, and it means that what you're saying has no meaning, really. So that's my issue with that. I'm gonna move on, but it's like, people love to latch on to something having to do with sex and politics, and like that story has it all. Couple comments. It says, I have to ask, why isn't this stuff national news, like Hillary emails and Hunter's laptop? I don't think it should be national news, really. Another comment says, this is closet bisexual. That unfortunately needs to come out and praise the pride flag like Mike Johnson should. See, another one that says, it's so warped that you couldn't even make this crap up. Democrats, LGBTQ, drag queens, etc. were never the problem in this country. Another one, kind of like the leftists who supposedly debunked Pizzagate went to prison for kiddie porn. Another one, it's always them, it's always those people, the ones that have the most to hide, that are out there pointing at everyone else to take attention of them, and they always get caught. It's like, the people that's worried about what other people are doing in their bedroom, they just want to control people. It's not about the morality of it. It's not about the family values. It's really just about controlling others. Power.
Book and in this last debate, she talked about getting the approval or the support or the mentoring of Henry Kissinger. Now, I find it rather amazing because I happen to believe that Henry Kissinger was one of the most destructive secretaries of state in the modern history of this country. I am proud to say that Henry Kissinger is not my friend. I will not take advice from Henry Kissinger. And in fact, Kissinger's actions in Cambodia, when the United States bombed that country, overthrew Prince Sihanouk, created the instability for Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge to come in, who then butchered some 3 million innocent people, one of the worst genocides in the history of the world. So count me in as somebody who will not be listening to Henry Kissinger. In her.
So yeah, a lot of this is coming out because Kissinger passed away a couple days ago, whatever. So yeah, his legacy and stuff is coming out, and that's why a lot of these old clips like this one is been coming out. Comments, it says, Bernie sold us out. I'll never look at him the same way I did in 2016. I agree with that. Another one that says, before he showed us he's a Zionist. Kind of agree with that. Another one that says, I'm still pissy they played Bernie. That's on the other side, but I agree with that one too. Couple more says, the man was right and he lives his values with integrity. We need more of him. Another one, very on board for her to look up to Kissinger. Yeah. So, it's the what's the word I'm looking for? These war hawk type stuff. Like, You know, that's Hillary Clinton. And, you know, looking up to the stuff that Kissinger did, you know, that just shows where she is on things, you know, like how she laughed about Gaddafi. A couple more says Hillary fawning over Henry is precisely why I did not vote for her. One of a billion reasons to not vote for her. Another one says, great clip. What is Bernie doing now? Refusing to call for a ceasefire and literal genocide. You know, that's pretty ironic to the hypocrisy too for Bernie to be talking about Cambodia and the way that they use those. What was it? The fire bombs that they used. Just like Israel's doing like the same thing, and Bernie is being really careful about not wanting to, like, he didn't call for a ceasefire. He wasn't calling for a ceasefire. At least I didn't hear it. If he's saying it, he's not saying it loud enough. So it's like it's okay for those. It's not okay for them to drop the bombs in Cambodia, but it's okay for them to drop the bombs in Palestine. You know, so where is he at on that? So it depends on the people or what they look like or whatever, or who's doing the bombing, or maybe it has to do with how far time has passed on, because that's one of the things that politicians tend to do, you know, because, you know, recent history is always, what's the word I'm looking for? It's controversial. Recent history is always controversial. And as a politician, you want to stay away from controversial stuff. So he can be more comfortable talking about something that happened years ago where there's no difference that you can make about it. But when you have something that's going on right now and there you can make a difference about it, then you stay away from it because it can hurt you politically. Yeah, I don't like that. Don't like that at all. I'm getting tired. It says EPA proposed removal of all lead pipes nationwide within 10 years. That would be great. That would be fantastic if that's true and it actually happens. Like, we're so far behind with that kind of stuff. Our infrastructure is crumbling. Our freaking bridges are falling down. You know, our pipes are the same some of these pipes been in the ground since the 1920s, bruh. That's 100 years. You know, and they just be making these repairs. You know, they have this thing where they send like plastic down and it coats the pipes or whatever. We need to dig those things up now. The amount of money that it will cost to do that is astronomical, but we have so much money to send to Ukraine and to Israel. We can't spend money to fix our pipes. It says approximately 22 million Americans live in homes where drinking water is carried by lead pipes. 22 million. It's 2023. Another comment says the EPA has unveiled a new rule that will replace all lead pipes in the U.S. within 10 years. Another one, if we stop funding genocide, we can have this done in 4 years. Another one, conservatives will somehow oppose lead poisoning. It says, so soon, really? Are they totally sure? I mean, we only banned lead pipes in the 80s. If 40 years enough time to continue poisoning us before finally deciding they might begin to phase these banned materials out? Always enough money for war overseas, at home, not so much. It says, wow, only 10 years to replace lead pipes in the wealthiest country that ever existed. Another one, it's incredible that it wasn't an immediate priority after the scientists discovered lead was detrimental to human health. America is that house on the block that with holes in the roof and a new Lexus in the driveway. Yep. It's ghetto. Another one that says, how will this actually happen? How will we pay for it? All I see is another opportunity for government officials to grease their palms to award big infrastructure contracts to people giving kickback for work that will take 30 years to complete and increase in cost 10 times when it is said and done. Sadly, this is probably true right here. That's really sad, but it's probably true. Very, very sad. It's so corrupt how our system is. I mean, you see how they build stuff in China, like in Japan, like and it's done. Like, it doesn't happen here. Government contracts is what you want to get. If you own a company that does this kind of work, you want that government contract. You're gonna sit on it and you're gonna milk it. Set you up for the rest of your life if you get that contract. Get rich. It says start in Flint, Michigan. Another one that says, are we starting with Flint, Michigan? It says, I hate it here. The fact that this hasn't been done for decades. It says, easy peasy, stop paying for wars and use the money to improve life in America. Another one says, yet our money can fund wars. They're all saying the same stuff. Another one says, lead pipes are safe if your water isn't corrosive. If we source our drinking water from places we shouldn't, that water is what breaks down the lead and adds further contamination. This is true, but it's beside the point. The point is the lead pipes needs to be dug up and replaced. So, yeah. I think I'm gonna wrap it, y'all. Let's see, is there something I absolutely need to cover? Hold on. Let's do this one. China new cancer drug tiragolumab is approved in the U.S. but will cost 30 times more. In China, a single dose vial costs U.S. $280, but in the U.S. it will have a wholesale price of $8,892. Now this is crazy. This is crazy. Now this is how we're getting screwed, like heavily screwed. Is an example of how horrible our system is. And this kind of stuff should make you angry. Like this should piss you off to the fullest. Like why? And this is like so much greed. This is so much profit from $280 to $8,892. What is causing that price leap right there? Is it because of the plane ticket or boat ticket from China? Let's read this. It says, this case is particularly interesting because high drug prices in the U.S. are always sold to the public as the cost of innovation. But obviously, in this case, the innovation happened in China. So crystal clear, in fact, just Americans getting screwed by their healthcare system. Exactly. It says, definitely cheaper to just fly to China and get it. Wow. Crazy. This should be illegal. People should go to jail for this. Nobody cares. They're just like, man, nobody's going to cover this either. Like, I haven't seen nothing about this in the news. They're not going to cover this. Crazy. $280 in China, $8,892 in the U.S. Comment, it says, why the F isn't this illegal yet? Another one says, but we are the best country. You know, they like to blame it, you know, like when you talk about Medicare for all or whatever, you know, the government negotiating prices, and then they start talking about communism, you know. So it's like, and then they want to, you know, it's like, okay, we want to have a free, what do they call it? Private health insurance companies or whatever, you know, we want to have a private sector or whatever. Like, so what this is what you get as a result of that. You get this $8,000 bill for this drug. You know, there's no real justification for this, but you guys will defend this left and right. You want to be screwed. It says cheaper to fly to China and get treatment. Wow. It says we can't imagine the stress of a cancer diagnosis in a country where the problem isn't availability for a lack of funds, but for lack of empathy. A rich country like the US doesn't have to be like this. Another one, it says the decline of America is becoming mind-bogglingly fast. It says, and this is one of the reasons why the US is a third world country now. It says $1,000 round trip flight to fill the prescription in China, plus motel and taxi will save you at least $5,000. It says China also has better consumer protections like banning planned obsolescence. Planned obsolescence is what they meant to put. It says we project around the world about the boogeyman, but we are the terrorists, and so is our bratty little brother Israel. Yeah, man, you guys are going to defend this. How do you defend this? Come on. Let me know. How do you defend this? Another comment says, but communism is evil. Another comment says, I'm so sick of how Americans are treated in America. We should start calling it the United States of price gouging. Another one, the U.S. subsidizes companies that make cancer-causing products and food, manipulates us to consume it, then make it impossible to heal from it. They get paid on the front end and the back end. You know, and even the part where it's like the cost of what did they say up there at the top? It's like the cost of like innovation, or like the reason why stuff costs a lot is because you have to spend all of that money on research and development. Well, a lot of that comes out of taxpayers' money, you know, the research and development end. But then once it's produced, then it becomes privately owned. So some private company gets to make all the money off of it after they use tax dollars to do all of the research and development. It's a freaking scam. It says, I have CML, a form of leukemia. My medication is close to $12,000 a month. I don't know what I would do without my health insurance. I would just have to die. Another one says, F this place. Another one says, wait, I thought the part of the Inflation Reduction Act helped prevent this. Or was that just insulin? I did think it was all prescription drugs. Apparently not. It says monoclonal antibody drugs aren't difficult to develop or produce. I've seen commercials for literally dozens in the last 2 years in the US alone. So most likely one similar or the same one will be produced by more than one company at varying costs. They often add a 4-letter suffix to the drug name because most MAB drugs have more than one indication of usage. Keytruda is currently indicated for over 15 different types of cancer and has been on the market for some time. Let China have their minute here, but this isn't really as damning as it seems. I don't really get that. Sounds pretty damning to me, but hey, I'm just a guy. Sounds like we're getting screwed, but hey, I could be wrong. Maybe they have a reason to charge us $9,000 for the drug. I don't think so, though. Oh, that's the Moms for Liberty thing. I already covered that. What? Did I share that twice? This is the Harry Kissinger stuff. I don't think I want to do that. We know he was a horrible person. Damn it. Colorado will provide 12 weeks of paid family leave for almost all workers starting January 1st. Leave can be used for health issues, caring for family, newborns, and more. The U.S. remains the only major country in the world without nationwide paid leave. It says most Colorado workers will have access to paid family leave starting in 2024. Workers making close to minimum wage could get 90% of their usual paycheck while on leave. It says, I live in Washington and we have this. Mostly everyone makes 90% of their wage while on leave. It is so awesome. Another one says, source, I live in Colorado and I haven't heard anything about this. Yeah, your media is bought and paid for by the damn corporations, so that's why you haven't heard it. Another comment says, how more tax, silly minds will act silly. Why do people say this? Like, okay, let's say it does cost some money or whatever. So, I mean, you don't want people to have family leave. Like, you don't want people to be able to get off from work and not freaking starve and go homeless. Why? Why do y'all think this way? Another comment says, I'm just about out of time off, helping to care for and spend time with my dad who is under hospice care. This law, if in Arizona, would have given me time to be with my family without being stressed, trying to my PTO and my family needs. Another one that says, meanwhile, Sweden provides 68 weeks. Hold on. Of paid family leave. It really puts things into perspective. 68 weeks. Another one says, thank Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema, and Republicans. Another one, it's amazing what Democrats do for working class families. Another one, billionaires can't make money if people aren't working. Think of the billionaires, the poor billionaires. Another comment that says, I want to work a day or two after both of my kids were born because I was contract and needed to work to pay for the kids being born. My wife barely got 3 weeks off because she was already out on bed rest and either return to work or be fired. I wish all future parents all the time off they need. Y'all want people to have to go directly back to work after having a kid. In a lot of countries, the mom and the dad can stay home with the kid. Y'all don't want that. Y'all don't want that. Another comment says, how about all workers still missing the mark? Another one, I really hope this is the start of a trend. Another one, obviously it's still not enough and American workers deserve a nationwide paid family leave, but a great step taken nonetheless. I don't know why it's so hard for us to do this kind of stuff. Another comment says, pro-life cowards would call this communism. Yeah, so that is what they would say. We're crazy over here. We've been thoroughly programmed to benefit the corporations and to vote against our own best interests. U.S. House passes resolution equating anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism. House members voted nearly unanimously to pass a resolution equating anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism, a framing which has driven the backlash against anyone who is critical of the Israel government. Only 2 Congress members, Libertarian Republican Thomas Massey and Progressive Democrat Rashida Tlaib, did not vote for the measure. Massey voted no, while Tlaib, the only Palestinian member of Congress, voted present. It says, swipe to see Congress member Tlaib speak at a nightly vigil in front of the White House held by a group of activists, politicians, and celebrities who have gone on hunger strike to demand a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. Yeah, so anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. It says, anyone who is critical of the Israeli government. So what is the quote? See who you can't criticize and then you know who's in charge.
Democrats across the country and 50% of Republicans support a ceasefire. So yes, why is it that my colleagues are scared to even say the words, utter the word ceasefire? How many more lives? How many more lives will be enough? How many more children need to be killed? How many more families have to be traumatized and torn apart? There's nothing humanitarian, my friends, about giving innocent civilians a few days of rest before they are bombed again. We are calling to the end to violence permanently and not a break in the violence. The temporary pause is not enough. We need a permanent ceasefire now. For our president, the President Biden, please, you must listen to the voices of the majority of Americans and the majority of Democrats who are calling for a ceasefire now. 75% of Democrats across the country and 50% of
Yeah. You can't criticize Israel. Nope, can't do it. Not allowed. I think I'm gonna have to wrap it. Let me see if it's something. It says humans think they know with certainty where their being ends and someone else's start. With their roots tangled and caught up underground, linked by fungi and bacteria, trees harbor no such illusions. For us, everything is interconnected. Really interesting stuff here. I wish these words didn't cover up this photo because it's pretty cool. Looking at the roots underneath the tree, it's like the roots are bigger than the tree, all intertwined, interconnected with everything else. And if they showed another tree, it would show how the roots of that tree is connected too. And like sometimes you got trees, they share resources with each other, you know. And like the thing is, I believe humans are connected, you know, we are. And this individualism is an illusion. It says, this interrelationship between trees has been proven through scientific study, and specifically through the work of Susan Simmer, highlighting the cooperative systems in which trees exist, not simply an individual, but a collaborative intelligence where the thriving of the collective is valued over the success of one individual. The way our ancestors saw trees as life givers, as sacred, was not wrong. This interconnectedness between trees, humans, and the other than human world can also be explained through bioregionalism. The environmentalist Peter Berg articulated bioregionalism as the awareness not only of the many life forms of each place, but how they are interrelated, including with humans. Big part of the bioregion entails more than just recognizing one's familiarity. I can't talk. Familiarity with the local ecology. It evolves as commitment to stewardship. These forms of guardianship and kinship observed in tree networks and other species should be embraced by us as well. If we preserve the natural world in all its wildness, beauty, and complexity, then we need to see nature as not as other, but as kin. Gratitude is much more than a polite thank you. It is the thread that connects us in deep relationship, simultaneously physical and spiritual, as our bodies are fed and spirits nourished by the sense of belonging, which is the most vital of foods. Gratitude creates a sense of abundance, the knowing that you have what you need. In that climate of sufficiency, our hunger for more abates, and we take only what we need in respect for the generosity of the giver. Next time you're outside breathing in the cool morning air, I invite you to consider your ecological kin. They are inextricably woven into the air you breathe and the nourishment you exhale. When you are walking through a woodland area, take the time to not only look above, but also down and marvel at the intricate networks of life that exist beneath our feet, which are rooted in collective thriving. So it says, how are trees connected? How is that related in our relationships? How do we deepen our networks and see each other as a kin? Hannah Hooper, a participant on our ongoing course, Tree of Life, reflects at the midway point of this course. Interesting stuff here. This is a beautiful piece of writing. We have lost so much wisdom as we prioritize financial wealth over the wealth of knowledge and over kindness and respect for our wonderful planet. Thank you. Amazing content. I'm not a bot. I will share these articulations and insights about interconnectedness were the most powerful growth points in my journey of learning herbalism and becoming a herbalist. I don't think most people realize how becoming a herbalist means, and these virtues and realizations are central. Any who wish to dive deeper into embodying interconnectedness can surely do so by grasping the ancient wisdom of various traditional holistic systems. Thank you for sharing. I'm gonna wrap it, y'all. Let's do this. It says, "In God, is God willing to prevent evil but not able? Then he is not all powerful. Is he able but not willing? Then he is not all good. Is he both able and willing? Then where cometh evil? Is he neither able nor willing? Then why call him God?" Comments. It says, "At what point do we stop blaming God and the devil for things men do?" Another one, it says, "God is a construct of man. Religion is a lie used to control and separate humankind." Another comment, "Good argument, but it fails to see that we are responsible for our evil." Another one, it says, "If God exists, either he can do nothing to stop the most egregious calamities, or he does not care to. God, therefore, is either impotent or evil." Sam Harris. It says, "This quote is one of my mantras." Another one is Weinberg, "With or without religion, good people do good things, and evil people do evil things. For good people do evil things, that takes religion." Another one, it says, "God's job was to create the universe." Another one, "He is able and willing, but he is testing." This what believes in God say. Believers in God say. Another one, "No human being is afflicted with children with leukemia. If there is a God doing that, then that God is not only unworthy of being called a God, but is lesser being than a human." Another one, "God doesn't bother about good or evil. Nothing which exists in this world is fully good or fully evil. Fire is used to cook food and provide warmth. It can also burn down the whole forest. Water is basic necessity, but it can also flood the whole village. A man can make an airplane which serves the humanity with time-saving transport. The same man can make missiles which can kill the humanity. God permits everything to human and other creatures. It's up to us to decide what we do. And lastly, none of us will be burnt in the hellfire. We will see consequences ourselves in this life only. Isaiah 4:5-7, "I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things." Another one, it says, maybe God created everything, including evil, but he has also made us a fighter. Our fight with evil is what keeps me and us lively, and we come closer and closer to goodness and truth. Another one, "Giant claims of God in heaven require giant piles of evidence." It says, "Which do you desire? Do you not also criticize him for severe judgment? You cannot have mercy without judgment." They say, "Where is his justice? Why does the evil in the world continue? Why does he not care?" But they have not yet perceived depths of his love, patience, mercy, and freedom. They have not perceived at the end of time justice and judgment have been prophesied. They do not know the ruler of this world, that is Satan himself, a darkened spirit consumed on destruction and deception and master of deceit. The world laughs at the spirit. It mocks and trivializes its role. There are things that lay in the corner of our eyes. Truth has been hidden in plain sight. If we truly do not believe in theism, then let the burden and origin of evil rest upon man himself where it belongs. It says, it's a test, is what I usually hear. I think that's a good spot to end on. Anyways, y'all, peace and love. Thank y'all for listening.